try to give her a call again, and then she just added another phone number to the 13-year-old grandson who's possibly with the daughter. Step out with this.
2412.
Veteran crisis hotline's calling in, so they have a female veteran's off her medication. She's at work to Safe Haven. Attacking 12, take a check that one out.
6-1 bullet, 2-1 try to get shot.
Officer still stands for time? No. Offender in custody?
With
Thanks. If anyone else close, wait to see result, let me know. First number. 10-4. Okay over there? Someone shot there.
Alright, the ET doesn't take pictures of the domestic area. She's calling back. We're going to try to give her a call again, and then she just added another phone number to the 13-year-old grandson who's possibly with the daughter. Step out with this.
2412.
Veteran crisis hotline's calling in, so they have a female veteran's off her medication. She's at work to Safe Haven. Attacking 12, take a check that one out.
6-1 bullet, 2-1 try to get shot.
there we go. Good morning. Oh my gosh, I probably sound like I just woke up. No, I probably sound like I just woke up because I did. I apologize. I apologize for being a little late. Good morning, Rosie, or good afternoon, wherever you may be. Right?
Right.
Man, it's crazy. Rosie, glad to see you again. By the way, it's kind of interesting. It'll be an interesting show because not only Rosie was kind of there from basically from the beginning of Sebastian Rogers. You were there from the first day with us. Not only with that, but also you were the one that was able to kind of hold everything down while we were out there on the ground. Damn, that matches. But you were able to hold everything down. And so if you go to any of those live searches, 99% of the time you're going to see Rosie up there helping out. So thank you for that. And also, I was there from the beginning with the Idaho 4 case. We actually went out, boots on the ground out there in Moscow and Pullman a little over a year ago, about a year and a month and some ago. Went out there for a week, and we started doing a lot of shows together. I came across your channel after I came back from my trip, and that's when I came across your channel, and I was like, "Oh wow, look at this!" You know, you put out a lot of interesting videos with a lot of how do I say it? With a lot of like schooling and knowledge behind it, you know, like with and studies and stuff too. So it was very interesting, and soon after that, you started joining the panel and stuff back then, and so you've been working on the Idaho 4 case for a long time as well. So with us being up here together again, not doing Sebastian, and not doing a huge panel shows either, it feels like it's like back in the day when we first started having shows together with Idaho 4, because I mean we were getting into a lot of stuff. That's when we were discussing the incel theory at Queen Road Apartments, even more based off of the Elliot. What was his name again? Elliot.
Rogers.
Yeah,
Rogers,
Elliot Rogers.
Yeah, that was long ago.
Yeah, that was a long time ago too. But it was crazy. So yeah, I mean, you guys definitely, if you're new to the community, or you weren't around then, definitely check out the ones where we discussed, and we didn't even get into depth as far as we were actually going to go with that whole theory. There was so much more beyond that we weren't even able to get to, just because everything else that came up with the searches and all that stuff. So, but that might be. I kind of forgot about that. That we might have to finish that actually, because I still feel like the Queen Road incel theory is still. I'm sorry. Just like with what we're going to be talking about today, the whole he was looked into the Idaho, the incident that happened in Pullman.
Yeah.
Of course, he's going to be looked at just like anybody else that committed a crime that wore a mask and had a knife. You know what I'm saying? Was Koberger on Paradise Path when somebody was threatening people that was wearing a backpack, threatening people with a knife on a bicycle wearing a mask? There's so many, and like with the 2021 stuff, this is what really shocked me about it, because it came out about a week ago. Somebody had put out the body cam footage, and they did a show, like, basically, like, I don't know. I'm just gonna say it. It was like clickbait. You know, it really was. It was like Koberger. This, of course. Anytime law enforcement, they're gonna look at it. Hey, was there any other surrounding areas that had similar, weapons or whatever? That's just automatic. Um, but when this person, when you get a FOIA, okay, you get a lot of stuff with it usually, and it's videos, documents, whatever you request, but really, you can get a lot of information, and I'm sorry. I don't understand why it was even put out that way, because when you look at what police were looking for based off of the witness's description, it was somebody between the height of 5'3" and 5'5". Now, we all know Koberger is 6 foot. Some people even say 6'1", 6'2". That's a huge difference. That's almost a foot difference when it comes to height. And when you get that FOIA information, that's one of the first things you're gonna get is something that's telling you a basic description of the person that committed the crime. So when you already know that this person is 5'3" or 5'5" based off of the witness, how could you even come to the conclusion that this is a huge link to Koberger? Number one, when you know he was still in Pennsylvania. I doubt he's road tripping back and forth from one side of the country to the other. That's a lot of driving. It's a lot of driving. Trust me, I know. I wouldn't even do it. But at the same time, he's like almost a foot taller, 7 inches taller, almost to a foot taller than the witness description. And then all of a sudden, after this video comes out, then all of a sudden, all these other channels are making videos about, oh, Koberger was, da da da. The titles of, like the home invasion and how,
Yeah.
There's a deeper involvement in it and all this other stuff, and it's just like, what are people? It's almost like the case of Sebastian Rogers too. There's so much. Hey, look at me, click, 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 and it's just like, what? You expect better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think it kind of shows you the extent to which people will take the details that suit them, and then the rest, can be explained away or just not even mentioned, which we see a lot with Koberger's case. I mean, there's so much stuff that should be mentioned, and then people kind of sidestep it if they just want to believe one thing. So
Yeah.
I think that this really, really does show that badly.
It does. I was shocked, because before I even looked into the witness description of 5'3" to 5'5", as soon as I heard the date, I'm like, the dude was in Pennsylvania. Like, I don't.
Like,
The dude was in Pennsylvania. Like, I don't even need to hear the height, the weight, and the clothing, and dude was in Pennsylvania. So, and then when it comes to, like, I tell you what, this Howard Bloom, I know some people love him, and I'm not here to criticize, but at the same time, when we got the book and I was going to do the read through, and I got to just a certain part, and I just couldn't do it anymore. I just couldn't do it. I had to stop. I'm like, I'm sorry, guys. I'll just shut it down. I don't even know if I left the video up, honestly. I might have just removed it after it was done, because I was like, this is crazy. Like, how do you know the conversation that took place? This is Howard Bloom. How do you know the whole conversation that took place? How the emotions during the 40 to 50 hour car ride together, just them two. How do you know the conversation, the emotions, the reactions, and all the stuff that took place in this car ride, but you're putting it out there like you were sitting in the back seat?
It sounds like it, right? It sounds like
I
he was in the back seat.
Yes, like they didn't know he was back there, and he's just
No, they didn't. Of course not.
chilling back there on like a leprechaun, just just chilling there. They don't even see him. And then he's going on national media, like, the book first, then Megyn Kelly, he's been on Megyn Kelly a lot. The whole confidential source and alternate suspects and all this, that this is what's so hard, is because from the very beginning, I wish I could make like a oh my gosh, there's so much stuff that we worked on from back then. You're talking over 2 years of work, and I wish there was a way that we could just just clip a whole bunch of stuff together and just play it for people to show people, because the DNA is a confidential source. It's because when they're looking for suspect DNA, okay, and they're trying to find it, kind of like how they did with the Golden State Killer. When they're trying to find it, they're going to use the DNA services that are available. Now, they're supposed to use the ones, and they have to say it's law enforcement, and there's protocols to it. Now, sometimes the protocols don't get followed, but there are protocols to it. And when it comes to obtaining a DNA sample or source, they are going to be confidential, because sometimes these people don't even know that their DNA is being used in a investigation through one of those DNA services. And so that's how they become a confidential source, because they're a source contributing to the DNA type investigation that they're working on to try and get some kind of connection. And they're not known, and they can't have their names out there. Now, we know who the confidential source was when it comes to the DNA. It's probably his dad, because of them using his dad's DNA in the PCA to connect him to the knife sheath and such. And so when it goes beyond that, when it's like alternate suspect, like somebody, listen, I could, I'm sorry, the 2 people, yeah, I could see 2 people doing it. I could see one person doing it that lived next door that had planned it this whole time, but I could see 2 people doing it. Okay, that's not what it's about. But you have to understand, what has law enforcement done this whole time? Law enforcement has only went after Brian Kohberger. They never said there was another suspect that they were still looking for. As soon as they arrested Brian Kohberger, they quit approaching the rest of the investigation as if they were looking for another suspect. And Kohberger, as far as my knowledge, in all of these court hearings, has never said that he did it with somebody else. So I don't even understand where all this alternate suspect confidential source is coming from, like it's some sort of secret person.
Yeah, I mean, I think that what I understood from the alternate suspect, which I might have misunderstood, was I thought that it was like a way of saying that it wasn't him at all. And between the 2 events, somebody's height was misrepresented, and he couldn't have done it because he wasn't there. Like, if you can say the same person did both, then it can't be him, because he definitely didn't do the one. but I might have misunderstood what they meant by the alternate suspect.
We might have been watching a different one because the one I was watching, they were talking about uh, there being another person that was involved with it, which there could be. I mean,
I
we've
will
heard, and shout out to them, whoever you're talking about. Shout out to them because yes, because if you really think about it, the the event at Paradise Path, this event that took place at on 2021, and this event right here that's behind us at 11:22 when I was there before the house was torn down. That's a photo. That's a real photo of when I was there, because I was documenting everything and doing an investigation of my own, trying to figure it out. This is the spot where I said, "Oh, yeah, this is Queen Road Incel that did this." But if you look at all three of those crimes, all three of them were wearing a ski mask, had a knife, dark clothing. That it all. Now, when it came to the height, we didn't get a height on the Paradise Path. We got a height at 11:22 based off of them arresting Koberger, but still, I don't know. Innocent until proven guilty. We'll see. I don't know. But I didn't see a height when it came to the report on Paradise Path. I didn't see a height on that one. So it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell. But it is concerning because you're talking about the same ski mask. I can see people out in Idaho, out in Pullman. I was out there. Trust me, it's straight up little town country. Hunting is common as hell. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not going to be anything to be carrying a knife and stuff like that. But when it comes to the ski mask, and you hear the ski mask over and over and over, you hear the witness statement from DM, bushy, that's all she could see was bushy eyebrows. Well, guess what? Ski mask, okay? You hear ski mask over and over and over. Usually that's not something that, do people wear stocking caps out there? They do quite a bit. I mean, it's cold. It's the Northwest in the fall. Yeah. But how many of them are wearing ski masks? Not very many. And when that ski mask is also holding a knife, also has anger issues, there's a pattern. And there's a pattern right here. And so I don't know.
That we can definitely say for sure.
Yeah, it's Howard Bloom with his kind of, and shout out to him because he went out there, he was talking to people. I don't know where he got some of his stuff. I went out there and I talked to people too, not only from the University of Idaho, the community of Moscow, Washington State University students, and the community of Pullman, Washington. I talked to a lot of different people in a lot of different professions in a lot of different areas, going to for a lot of different things in school. A variety of people I wanted to talk to, and I heard a lot of stuff. There's people that still didn't even feel like the right person was caught, and they were still going about back then. I don't know about today, but a year after the crime took place, they were still doing the buddy system. Still, there was still fears out there that the person wasn't the right person, that the person was still out there, or or if they felt that he might have been the right person. There's people that felt like he did it with somebody else and the other person was still out there. Um, it's already a town that's filled with a lot of secrets. You saw our episode that we interviewed James Lightheart, grew up in Moscow, attended that infamous church there. It's a town of secrets. And, when something like this takes place, this kind of horrific crime, because really, it is horrific what took place for students inside this little home and the brutality of the crime. Just in this little scrunched small town in northern Idaho in the middle of nowhere. I can imagine the secrets and how claustrophobic people felt when it came to the air that they breathed in Moscow, when it came to the fear of what could happen again, and having to wake up and realize and deal with what just took place as a community. I can imagine the secrets that have to be going around, and it was already that way. The no reports from police.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, if that's already the culture of the place, and then there's like a trauma to that extent, I can understand why people would respond in the way that you're saying. But I mean, also, I think that the fear of it, like the possibility of it happening again, could almost be so stressful that it's so much easier to believe that it's definitely the right person. It was one person, and even if you don't like fully believe that, it's just so much easier to push that to the back of your mind to feel safe. Which I mean, I've never been in a situation like that or in a town like that, but I can kind of understand the impulse to do it.
Well, the here's the biggest difference I can compare it to. So with Delphi and the community there for the most part, because I was out there during the trial and the sentencing. I was talking there. The tensions were high there already, and so there was a lot of people that I talked to when I wasn't on stream, because I didn't want to. How do I put this? I don't need to get footage of interviewing somebody about how they felt. You know what I'm saying? If it's when there's all that tension out there, listen, I'll go out there to be there. I don't need to go me. Hey, let me get you, and then put it on the. I don't need. I talk to a lot of people off. Uh, I talk to a lot of people off stream up there because of the tension. If it wasn't for the tension, it'd be fine. But with the tension on both sides, it was like, wow, people. But this was the thing, and this is the difference, is that with Delphi, regardless of how you feel, when you look at the evidence in Delphi, I see reasonable doubt. Okay? But the community, just like Moscow, is a very small town in the middle of nowhere, has a lot of secrets. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of the same air in Moscow that there is in Delphi. The community in Delphi, the majority of them, even just regular homeowners, even though, because the evidence is the same to me when I'm looking at the evidence for both cases, I see reasonable doubt on both of them. Same kind of communities, same kind of evidence. I'm looking at it, and these people in Delphi majority of them feel that Richard Allen did it no matter what. Da 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 da. And I'm like, okay, I got you. You know what I mean? 75-25, maybe even a little higher than that. Richard Allen, Richard Allen, Richard Allen, Richard Allen. Even though I'm seeing reasonable doubt. When it comes to the Idaho 4 case and Brian Koberger, the communities, more people than I'd say 60-40 were on the side that Koberger didn't have nothing to do with it, and that or they felt that somebody else that did commit that crime was still out there. If they helped Koberger, or if they didn't feel Koberger had anything to do with it, they felt somebody else did with it. So it's a combination of one part compared to, yeah, he did it for sure. There was less people in Idaho, Moscow Pullman, that felt that Koberger did it. But when it comes to Delphi's, oh, it's Richard Allen, Richard Allen, Richard Allen. So even though there's the same type of atmosphere, the same small town, the same middle of nowhere, the same lot of secrets, the same the same pat on the backs, the same kind of reasonable doubt for me in both of the evidence, but yet they're completely different when it comes to the guilt of the individual that's being charged. Richard Allen, they're like, oh yeah, for sure. Brian Koberger, I don't know. I'm scared still. I'm scared. This is what I heard most of the time. I'm scared. We still go out, me and my friends. We still, we still make sure at least two of us are together most of the time, even when we're going out, especially when we're coming home. We still, not that it was as drastic like it was when it first happened, but me and my friends still go out and make sure that we're always with somebody else, or we're letting somebody else know where we're at and who we're with and all this other stuff. Just because they arrested Koberger, right? Now, you would think if it was the same and like it is in Delphi, you would think once they arrested Koberger, everybody, as in time, you start to go back to your normal routines and your normal habits. Think about all the tragic things that happen throughout the world. And we know, yes, we always remember, but then we start to get back into that routine that we were in. Time goes by. It wasn't happening for these people. Just because Koberger was arrested, even though time was going by, because it was 11 months after Koberger got arrested that I was out there talking to these people. 11 months went by, and there wasn't that time went on getting back to the normal routine. It was almost like just a little bit of time went by, and they were still like, I don't know. I still feel like somebody's still out there.
That's an interesting discrepancy. Like, I wonder, maybe I'm just guessing because I don't know a lot about Delphi at all, but maybe it's like to do with the fact that a lot of people thought that Idaho 4 couldn't have been one person. Maybe the people in Delphi were satisfied that it was one person. I don't know. I don't know if like I said, I don't know much about Delphi, but it's really interesting.
There was a lot of conversation about how could it be one person with Delphi because when you're coming off the Monon High Bridge and the girls were supposedly forced down the hill, I've been over there. That hill is so freaking steep for one person with a weapon to make sure not only to have and force those two girls down there and them not be able to get away, while he has to try and keep his balance as they're all walking down. I'm sorry. it's sketchy to me. You got the two different drawings for Delphi. You got one that looks like an older man, and then 2 years later they release another one that looks completely different and looks like a younger person. I don't even know how they look like the same person, because when you put them up next to each other, they don't even look the same. There's been all of these little things that have hinted at possibly more than one person. And so even with Idaho 4, there's still hints of more than one person, but I think I think what it says is I think what it says is that yes, both are small in the middle of nowhere towns. They run the things. It goes the way they want it to go. Pats on the backs, all that other stuff. But I think I think Moscow has created such a stronghold on these people out there, uh because Delphi wasn't created to make sure that the state of Indiana stayed the state of Indiana. Okay. Moscow was created to make sure that Idaho could become a state and they wouldn't lose the panhandle to Montana or Washington or Oregon. That's why Moscow was created. I feel like these people that are in Pullman, in Moscow, that exist in that kind of muck, I think they already kind of understood. Look, we've seen this happen way too many times. I don't think Delphi, maybe not because it's really small. Moscow, I think it was at a point, and this is why I got the reaction that I did when I went out there, was because Moscow got used to saying, yeah, we've seen this happen before. Not with the crime, but with people being charged for a crime. You're supposed to believe this is the person that committed the crime as a community, public opinion, what they've been doing for a long time. And I think that's what the difference was. Delphi was like, this is like the first crazy big thing that's taken place, even though it's been little stuff, little things that have taken place in Delphi. But with Moscow, I feel like they all kind of were like, you know what, we've seen this before, and we have reasonable doubt because of what we've experienced with these officials before. And we know that sometimes they ain't getting the person that, it's just public opinion. I think they realize that. I think that's the difference.
Yeah, that would make sense.
But I wanted to actually, I want to go through these photos that you sent me. Did you want to go through those at all? Was there's
If you think they're worth noting, I mean they're all from earlier in the year, so I'm not sure. I mean, you guys can tell me what you think if they're noteworthy.
Well, a lot of this stuff is gone. A lot of this stuff from the Moscow PD, they'll just literally delete logs off the. Like, they don't even care. They'll just delete stuff off the logs like it wasn't there, and then you have to go to the Wayback Machine and pull stuff up. You really do. Like, even with I wonder, even with like their website that they used to have for helping trying with information, like they had their tip line open for tips like a year after Koberger was arrested.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Do you have any information on who might have committed these crimes? Yeah, you can still call. It was December when they finally shut it down. I remember December of 2023. They finally shut down the website a year after Koberger was arrested. And it's like, What are we doing here?
All in their own time, you know.
Hey, that website was gold though, because that's, nobody was quote cleared. They were just not being looked into. They weren't cleared. They wanted to make sure people knew that, which I don't know how you can clear people or not clear people when you didn't even control the crime scene when you got there. They still didn't even know, to this date, they don't even know how many people were outside that house when they showed up to the crime scene. How do you not know? How do you not
I mean,
know? How do you not? You have not accounted for everybody.
no. And I think that it is a lot more than they let people believe as well. A lot.
Yeah, they I'm trying to figure out like a comparison. Sorry, it's early and I haven't had very much coffee. Kind of like they were they were like a balloon animal. They were creating an illusion. Look, a dog! But it's not a dog, it's a balloon, right? It's an illusion. Look, a puppy. A puppy. Wouldn't that be cool? Knowing how to make little like balloon animals and shit. I think that'd be neat. I don't know. I'm tired.
I'd drop it. I'd give up.
I'm
That does not
tired.
look easy. That's okay.
Judge. What do you think about this, Rosie? We haven't talked because there's been some other shows that we've had shout out the other guests. I know it's a different time zone for you, so it's like what, in the middle of the morning for you or something, right? Early.
Usually shows it's like 2, 3 a.m. for me. So.
Yeah, we have to figure something out to get all together. But what did you think about Judge? He finally. What did you think? What did you think about it going to Boise?
I mean, in terms of Judge, I agree with Mark and Betty. I think that was comical. Like, he could not wait. He really couldn't. But I mean, I like the new judge, so I think it all worked out for the best. But Judge, yeah, I don't think he was particularly interested from the get go.
No.
To be honest,
Stopping at Floyd's, there would be so many times
other cases.
he would just have this face like he'd just sit here like this.
That's pretty good.
Right? He'd just sit here, or he'd.
Oh yeah. Don't forget that.
Yeah.
He would nod occasionally though.
Or sit like this. But he'd always have that. just just that face. It's like, bro. You're like staring off into space. Look, the colors, the sparkles. It's like, bro.
As long as he doesn't start stargazing, it's fine.
Well, I mean, it was nice because I got tired of hearing deadlines being set and they constantly being walked all over, and then when there'd be something brought to his attention, how many times did we hear both sides tell the judge what, like, Judge, it's supposed to go like this. Usually in these kind of hearings, this is typically what happens. Like, hey, Judge, come on, and he could never make a decision. A decision would take weeks or a month or longer, and it's like, dude, is this gonna happen?
By the time he made decisions, I would usually forget what the motion was.
Right? Yeah, seriously, yeah. Because by a few weeks later, you're working on other cases. You don't even think about it no more until all of a sudden, poof, and you're like, and then when you got it, half the time you didn't even get nothing anyway, and it's like, what the heck? Oh, another extension. Okay, by this date now. I know I told you this, but now don't cross the. It's like the parent that's like, all right, I'm gonna do this if you do this. Okay, okay.
Parents you don't take
Uh,
seriously.
right, right. You're like, okay, judge. But this new guy, man, I'm glad it moved to Boise. I already told you when I went out there and I realized how small these roads were and how compact these neighborhoods were and how little a parking and how I myself I could not find I could not find lodging in Pullman. This was this was just for me, okay? I couldn't find lodging in Pullman or Moscow. I had to literally drive. Let me see how far. It was like a couple hours from Spokane to Moscow. Spokane, Washington to Moscow, Idaho. Hour and 30 minutes. Okay. From Spokane, I can't remember. I know there's a certain way you got to pronounce it, whatever. Uh, from there to Moscow / Pullman. Hour and 30 minutes. Sometimes it'd take a little longer because the fog was so bad. I could only go like 25 because while you're driving from Spokane, uh, you're driving like up elevation to get to Moscow and Pullman. So I'm like driving up into a mountain that is going higher, and so all of the clouds are a lot lower for me. And once you get into that area, there's so many times whether I was leaving, this is why it was so dangerous um when I was out there, because when I would be leaving, it would be dark. I would have to get there so early in the morning to be able to start work out there, because I would have to plan to be done by literally 3:30 in the afternoon, because it started getting dark a couple minutes after 4 o'clock in the afternoon at that time. And how dark it got up there, there's nothing out there. You're closer to, because you're a higher elevation, you're closer to the atmosphere. You have no humongous cities around you forever, except for Spokane. And the lighting is just non-existent. It is so dark there. And when you're driving through those roads and the fog is so thick you cannot see 5 feet in front of you, there was so many times it did take me 3 or 4 hours to get back because I could only go 20 miles an hour because I couldn't even see.
And that's
And
without the traffic of a trial.
right. And so it had to go to Boise, because these people that would have had to go to Moscow for a trial would have had to drive through all this. And I'll show you some of the footage. Show you a little clip of it here in a second, show you some of the fog I had to drive through every single day. And it was in the morning and at night when the sun came up and was out through the day, that moisture would evaporate. But I tell you what, before that sun came up and when that sun went down, that moisture comes back and it's like, whoa. I couldn't see a whole bunch of news people, experts, witnesses, all these people having to travel to Spokane and then go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and then not even be able to park. They would have to run a shuttle system from the Kibbe Dome or something to then shuttle them to the courthouse, because there's only like 7 parking spots at the courthouse. That's it. 7 spots, 8 spots. There's not very much. And so from the very beginning, it was like, man, you got to move it to Boise. But at the same time, they still had the house up.
Yeah.
You still, hey, the house is important. You got to keep it in Moscow or you know, take it to Coeur d'Alene. That probably had a little more parking, a little more, I don't know.
More than
But,
8. Yeah.
right, right. Because Coeur d'Alene is like a tourist destination a little bit up north. It's right on the other side of Spokane, Coeur d'Alene is. But it's like a tourist destination. So it's got a lot of tourist type um, environments or whatever. But once they got rid of the house, it was like, yeah, there's no reason to have it in Moscow anymore. It might as well move to Boise. I didn't understand why the prosecution fought it for so long, and then in the end, they were like, okay, like yeah. I don't understand why they fought it for so long.
I mean, it made so much sense. I remember there were even times that they were accidentally arguing for it. So,
Yeah, I'd like to see their notepad. It's probably all over the place. Writing you probably can't even read. I don't remember. I can't even understand my own handwriting. Like it was.
that happens to me. I'm not judging.
Well, it happens to me too. I got chicken scratch sometimes, but it's because I'm in a hurry. I'm like, shh, shh. I hate the days when you're at the store and you're like standing there for 10 minutes, like going, what the hell did I write? But yeah, that's me. But I wanna check this video out. Now there's a News Nation video. And just as a heads up, if you see me talking about it and all of a sudden it's clipped out, News Nation has this thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and play it anyway, but just as a heads up, it might just go to something else because I might have to end up clipping it out anyway. For News Nation is always just weird. But I wanted to go into this court TV. I kind of wanted to show like different parts where Brian Koberger, the home invasion from 2021, when if people literally just look at the witness description and see 5'3" to 5'5", and you see how tall Koberger is, you already know right there. It's like, you know what I'm saying? It's on the label of the can, right? They're not even looking to see if it's green beans or corn. Yeah. They're not even looking to see if it's green beans or corn. They're just trusting that, hey, it's fruit cocktail. But really, it's like corn or green beans.
But, sorry. No, I was just going to say with that other case, I think it does have a lot of value in a way, because I feel like with the way Idaho 4 went, especially with the roommates and how weird that was, it really does kind of show the normal reaction to something like that, and something way less serious than what happened to them. But it's like they were really good. Like from what we can see from that body cam stuff, they were really good witnesses. They called the police straight away. They defended themselves and did everything that you should do in a sort of similar situation. So
right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and shout out to her, because when you hear her story about how that she woke up and this was happening right in front of her and she instantly just started kicking, and then and you hear her say he flew back into the wall closet area and then just ran. My gosh, shout out, because oh my gosh, it could have ended so tragically as well. Yeah, in that situation. But you're right. She did everything, called the police. They took a report. She was very descriptive in her witness statement. Yeah, so it is but for people to use that, because it's kind of like what I talk about when people make this clickbait shit for Sebastian Rogers, and they're like every time they're doing it, they're just chipping at the armor of these people, of the victims' families or communities. And this person right here, back in 2021, you know what I'm saying, is going through this stuff. It's had to be traumatic. Obviously, it still has to be. And then to get thrust in back into this spotlight that you didn't even have a part of in the first place, and now you're going to be it's just more of this, and I don't understand uh the personal approach to some, like, these people have feelings too. You know, these are real human beings. Just like with T-Rev and the fake BK phone call, you know, that was the last night I watched his show. I was like, dude, this is so fake. He's telling you this happened 10 years ago, and you're making it seem like it happened 2 weeks ago, man. Like, it's the fake promotion. And then look what happened. He shows up on Hidden True Crime so many months later, and he sits there and tells people about the things that he had to go through because of somebody's clickbait. These people have feelings, you know?
Yeah.
It's and so with this lady right here, hopefully hopefully it doesn't get too crazy, cuz there's so many people making even mainstream media. You'll see it here in a second. It's one of the things I wanted to show you. Like, you'll see even the mainstream media is jumping on this, and it's like when do people check the label? Like, when do people check the label before they open a can and start eating out of it?
Yeah.
Uh,
I think people assume mainstream media won't exploit people like that, but they do. They do.
well, they just no expiration date doesn't exist, you know. Oh, look at this fruit cocktail, but it was from 1954. What?
That part is not
And then they spit it out because it's rotten.
right.
Like, read the label first, you know, and you can save a lot of, like, the and the one and the only people that get affected are the ones that I'm talking about right here. These innocent souls that have nothing to do with it, and now they're getting put into this spotlight where it's like, come on, if you just really sat back and read the label or thought about it, you could really, save this whole world from having a little more of some BS kind of energy going around, because you want to have people go, look at me, the top hat and the cane on the stage with the tuxedo. Hey, 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 doing your little show. Like, it's enough. Enough. All right, so I'm going to play a local news clip from Philly. Then I'm going to play the News Nation clip. Then we're going to play a Court TV clip. And then I want to check out this Megyn Kelly episode with you that she had with Howard Bloom. Oh my gosh. It's going to be crazy. All right. Thank you all for being here. Appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to Rosie, there's her link. Please go do so. Also, oh yeah, you know what? Let me share that foggy video with you guys real quick. Hold on. Let me show you. Do you want one from the daytime or nighttime? Or I could just do both. Hold on. Because I also recorded my trips there and back as well. A lot of footage in Idaho. Lot of footage. Let me see here. Let's see. Videos. Yeah, here's one of them. Here's one of them. So this is during the this is during the daytime. Okay. See how foggy it is? Here, let me
That is crazy.
Oh, we got really small. Here, let me do this. Yeah, look at this. This is how foggy it was during the daytime.
Or that's the daytime one?
That's daytime. Imagine this at nighttime. Look. So yeah, daytime. It's even getting so fuzzy. See, that's the sun. That's the sun.
That's supposed to be the sun.
That is the sun.
Okay.
Ain't that crazy? You saw how small it was without the extra. Wow, look at how big it seems to. Wow, I never noticed this. Look at this. That's crazy. I always thought the sun looking in the sky was huge, right? Watch. Oh my gosh. See, right? You see, it's the sun. It's. But watch when I get to the certain part. Oh my gosh, where did it go? Because when it. Look, that's how big it actually is. Whoa, this is crazy. This is some astronomy shit here. Look at this. Like, I didn't realize the brightness of the sun to our human eye makes it look like it is so big in the sky, but in actuality, it's just a little teeny dot.
Yeah.
That's wild. I never noticed that. That's crazy. Yeah, because this looks like the normal sun, you know? Wow. So, yeah, that's how foggy it got. And so, let me see. Let me look at some other. Well, here, this is. I already had this up. So, this is how dark it is at night. So, imagine that fog. I already had this up.
Yeah.
Here, let me rewind it so you guys can see. Pulling up to 11:22. Let me try and find some night footage with I might have deleted it. No, I didn't. It's part of another video that's like super long. Ah, here we go. Okay, so this is from the back of the house, but I know. Okay, now that was a clear night. Oh, there's some of it. Hold on. That's one night where it got a little foggy. Hold on. But that wasn't too bad that night. But it would start to get foggy, and then it would get just as thick as some of those other ones. Now, this wasn't too bad this night.
Yeah. That's not so
wasn't
bad.
too
You can
bad.
still see the road.
I would have to go through all my footage because, like, they start out during the daytime. Most of them start out during the daytime, and then this one just started out at night. Because some of them are like 3 or 4 hour long clips. So they start out in the day and they end up late at night. But I'd have to go through them. All right, let me get to. We'll get to this local news clip, and then we'll check out some of these other ones. And this is them talking. About the home invasion. And like I said, of course, law enforcement, if they're doing their job, they're gonna look. Why is it? What the heck's going on? Is my mouse messing up here? Oh, my key was sticking. Oh, baby Angel must have been walking on my keyboard. She does that. It's like when I get out, like she does that on purpose. It's like when I leave the room to like go to the kitchen or go to the bathroom or go somewhere, baby Angel instantly jumps up on my desk and starts typing a bunch of keys on my keyboards. And then all of a sudden I come back and there's like there's a bunch of messages somewhere that's like a bunch of like M's
Yes.
or H's or something like that, or it's something that's typed.
Yes.
That's like her favorite thing. She literally, like, as soon as I'm out, it's like, all right, Dad's gone. let's get on the desk. Let's step on the keys. It's
I've
like
had Harrison send emails for me, and I'm not looking. And I didn't want to
probably.
send. I was like not actually trying to email that person. I was trying to read an email and then, yeah.
Oh, she's a character. All right, this is the what the heck? It's doing it again. Okay, hold on. I think my. All right, I don't understand why it's doing that. Sorry, I thought it was my keyboard. Is it? All right, let me try that. All right, we're gonna check this out. This is the local, and then we're gonna go to a couple national media.
In the Idaho College murders case, officials now say the Poconos native Brian Koberger was investigated in connection with an earlier home invasion. Now, new body cam footage shows police responding to an alleged home invasion just 1 year before the brutal murders of 4 University of Idaho students, and it was less than 10 miles from their off-campus home. According to the police report, a woman said a masked intruder entered her bedroom in Pullman, Washington, holding a knife without saying a word.
I heard my door open and I looked over and someone was wearing a ski mask and had a knife. And so I kicked the out of their stomach and screamed super loud, and they flew back into my closet and then ran out my door and up the stairs.
Officers found no suspect or evidence when they arrived on the scene. Koberger was then named a person of interest in that case shortly after being arrested for the stabbing deaths of Kaylee Goncalves, Madison Mogan, Zaina Coronado, and Ethan Chapin. But a report revealed that Koberger was not yet enrolled in Washington State University, nor was he visiting the campus as a prospective grad student. Pullman police.
He was still in Pennsylvania. Oh, my Lord. Read the labels.
People to get.
Read the labels. Read the labels. That's, you know what? There are a lot of people that pass away every year because they eat food that is expired. Okay? It's a real thing. It's an epidemic. It's an epidemic. Read your food labels. Okay? Read your food labels. Oh, it's so important.
Police say that he is no longer a person of interest in that break-in, and it remains unsolved. Now, there are questions if the defense will try to use that to raise doubt in Koberger's murder trial.
Without a doubt, Brian Koberger's defense team is going to try to raise.
I highly doubt it. Oh, my Lord. What? Listen to these people. I bet you he's going to try, and his defense is going to you know why they're not even going to use it, period? They're not going to use it, period, because Pullman police already came out and said we have no reason or evidence to believe he was involved in this. Oh!
And also, they knew about it before we did, so why do we think they're just finding out? They know what's going on.
Read the label before you eat your food, people.
Mm-hmm.
Right here. We have no reason or evidence to believe he was involved in this burglary at this time. But you got... Oh, my Lord. I can see his defense using the... Look at this. ABC News legal contributor. Oh, my Lord. You got YouTubers over here making a hell of a lot more sense than Brian Buckmeyer. Because they're not even going to use it, Brian.
Without a doubt, Brian Koberger's defense team is going to try to raise reasonable doubt by pointing to an alternative suspect. In using this alleged burglary, the question becomes, why would a judge admit this evidence or nothing about this case as to prove that Brian Koberger was not the murderer?
As for Koberger,
yes, who wouldn't? Hey, guess what, Brian? Is the sun yellow? Yes, it is. All right. Good job. Of course. But Think about it. When they already say he has not, this has nothing to do with he is it's something that they do with all cases. Something they do with all cases. Was there a K-bar used in any? I bet you it wasn't just Pullman. It was Oregon. It was Montana. It was Utah. It was Idaho. Washington State. It was a whole state surrounding Idaho that they probably reached out to at some point to see if there was somebody that committed a crime
They would have to.
with a knife and a mask. I mean, think about that's how Ted Bundy got away with all of his stuff when he was getting away with stuff. Is because they didn't communicate. They didn't realize, oh wait, this is the same thing that happened to these people over here. Hold on a minute. And that's when it started to, they started to go, wait a minute, we probably should start checking other states around here for similar crimes because, but they're going to use any kind of alternate other suspect when it comes to his innocence. That's part of pleading basically not guilty. So what if you didn't do it and you're being charged with the crime, what are you gonna say? A ghost did it. No, you're gonna come up with different scenarios to show how your client didn't commit the crime and how somebody else could have, based off of what you have out there. I don't know. They're just making this too much out of nothing, and I don't understand because if you read 5.3 to 5.5, you read the expiration date, you know it's spoiled or not. All right, this is News Nation. Let's see. I don't even know who's hosting this one. It's probably Banfield. Ugh. But we'll have to hear what they say. You know how they are. It's all shock news over there anymore.
The defense may want to argue that there is somebody else out there committing these types of crimes. Could this create an alternative theory of the crime and raise reasonable doubt when it comes to Kohberger himself?
Duh.
And it's possible if the evidence come in, but I don't think the evidence is going to come in, and this is why. The prosecution can introduce evidence of prior bad acts, and we know this is eerily similar for the reasons that you said. A break-in in a college town, in the middle of the night, ski mask, knife, someone who was silent. But that's not something the defense can do. The defense normally can't bring in evidence of other suspects and other crimes. So I expect the judge in this case, and the judge has been very cautious because we know it's a death penalty case and there's mandatory state and federal appeals to keep out all this evidence. So I don't think it's going to come in. I don't think the prosecution wants it to come in because, frankly, it's not helpful for their case.
So you know what I'm saying? You got ABC News legal analysts telling you, oh, I guarantee. And then you hear this right here, like, listen, they're not. Are they going to introduce another theory? Yes. Are they going to literally use? Prosecution's not using it. They're not using it.
Of course not.
Right, Sleuthy. It's not helpful to the prosecution whatsoever, especially when Pullman is literally telling you we have no reason. It's not. I don't read the labels of your food. That's what I need to make a t-shirt of that. Like, read the labels of your food. Okay.
Yeah.
Gosh, it's just too much anymore. All right, here we go.
There is indeed another suspect. committing similar acts.
And Allison, your insight is crucial here. You've been on the ground in Idaho from the very beginning. You've been looking into this case extensively. You learned of that other break-in. What do you know today?
Well, actually, we already knew about this other break-in and that he had been questioned in relation to that. But the more interesting thing is that there was a burglary in his apartment building while he was already a teacher's aide, already at Washington State University. The burglary occurred in the home of one of his co-employees, somebody else that was working at the Washington State University. And after it happened, she had reached out.
Oh, this one. Like, oh my gosh. You know where this one's going.
Yeah, this one is the one that doesn't go away.
Yeah, this is the one where me and Nancy Grace first split up. I cut her off after that. I was like, Nancy, when Brian Kohberger knew that she was gonna call him for help and knew that she wasn't gonna change her password and knew that he could get on when he got back home and watch her in her underwear, and I'm just like, Nancy, like, stop, Nancy. And that's what I was like, Nancy, I love you, Nancy.
Yeah.
We need a break because I can't do it no more. I can't do it no. Now we took a break for a couple months, I saw her. She was having a tough time. She was real crabby on the shows. I was like, Nancy, we just need to go out for a drink, Nancy. Well, I'll get you to laugh a couple times. Hey, you'll have, turn the frown upside down. That's it. I'll get you to laugh a couple times. You're good to go. Let it off your chest, Nancy, and gave her a little, and then we came back and she seemed to be okay. And there's been a couple times here and there where I was like, Nancy, now come on, Nancy, and everything seemed okay, but yeah, that's when this took place, and it just reminded me when I first cut Nancy Grace off because of the whole, like, you can go back to the episode. You can see what I'm talking about when she's talking about this surveillance, creep stuff that Kohberger was doing. She was literally doing like the Michael Jackson Thriller clause.
She was on top form for that one, yeah.
Yeah, like in your camera. She had the Michael Jackson Thriller clause at you. Talking about this, and it was just like, oh no. So yeah, that's what this lady's talking about. It's bringing back so many memories from back then. This was a long time ago when that episode with Nancy Grace took place. Gosh, that had to be a year and a half ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm trying to think of when that was, because man,
more or less, yeah.
It was, I think it was right around when I went, no, maybe it was like a year ago right around when I went out to Idaho. I think it was right before or right after I came back, wasn't it? I think it was right before I went to Idaho, actually. I think it was, yeah. So yeah, that it's the news media, just I don't know. Come on, man. Like how would somebody know? How would somebody know that they're gonna like, hey, can you come help me set this up? Sure, I'll do a manly thing. I'll come help you out. I'll set it up for you, whatever. I would show you how to change your password. You don't think I'm going to show you how to change your password? Come on now. And you don't think that somebody that's doing that would expect somebody to show them how to change it as well if they can't figure it out? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's
is she a colleague of his?
Yeah.
So she's a criminologist.
Yeah, so you would think like, wouldn't that come off weird to you if somebody came over to help you out and help hook it up, and they didn't offer to help show you how to change the password? Wouldn't you find that creepy already?
Of course. Yeah.
So then wouldn't you say, hey, can because if they're over there to help you out and they're over there to do a nice thing and hook up security, why would they go like, hey, do you mind showing me how to change this password? Hell no. Learn how to do it yourself. You're not gonna get that response, right? So you shouldn't feel uncomfortable to ask somebody, hey, right? Because if they're there to help you out, they're going to be there to, here, let me show you real quick. Yeah, you just got to do this and do this.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have any kind of like inhibitions to ask somebody, hey, can you show me how to? No. So to sit there and be like, oh yeah, it's totally cool. I'm sorry. If I'm asking you to come set up security for my house, you're out of your effing mind if you're walking out of this place and I don't know how to change the password. You got it. You I don't know what world you're living in. Like, it ain't happening. Like what? So you can sit there and watch what I do throughout my whole house? Like, are you fucking nuts? Like, for real? No. Let's get real. All right, so this lady, sorry about the sidetrack there. It's early. It's the morning. Little sleep and barely any coffee. I just need to keep drinking and keep watching is probably what I need to do right now. Sorry. All right, we're going to watch the rest of this one because I really want to get to this Howard Bloom stuff. It's crazy. I can imagine.
To Brian Koberger to ask him, because he lived very close by, as did other people that he knew lived in that complex. And she reached out, spoke to him, and he suggested that she put in cameras for security. And the police questioned this woman about what had happened about this burglary in relation to Brian Koberger. And they also posited that it's possible that he was able to hack into the Wi-Fi and watch her through the cameras that she ultimately installed.
Really?
Apparently, really. Yeah.
Read the labels on your food. Oh my lord. Oh my god.
And this is reporting that News Nation has had for a bit.
Yeah.
We don't know how it's going to figure in.
Yeah, closest source to the investigation. Quotations. Reddit, chat feeds, and law enforcement that wanted to push a narrative. Okay, back to the show.
But I can tell you, when I went to speak to this woman who had been burglarized, the Washington State Police called me and said to leave her alone, that she'd been through enough for now. And I acquiesced to their demands. But I also found out from source very close.
Whoa, so she tried to reach out to this person and she called the cops on her? Because why would the cops reach out to her?
Exactly.
Yo, she called the cops on this lady as soon as she called her.
Yeah, she said she could see her through the rig cam that she still has.
Whoa! Oh my gosh, this lady. Damn, I would have. Oh my gosh, I can't imagine. Like this, I wish I would have reached out to her back then, because like everybody that I talked to, they were like, "Hey, what's up, man?" I'm like, "Hey, what's?" It was just like I was one of them. Probably because I was dressed like him and I, shaved with a baby face, so I looked like a student. You know what I mean? I was kicking it with the, with the people.
I don't see her managing.
I never got any resistance from anybody except for the people in the big burly trucks with the loud mufflers. That group of trucks that, you hear some of them on the grub truck, if you know what I'm saying. Those people I had, it got a little sketchy a couple times. One time was at the vigil. Right afterwards, they were kind of harassing me a little bit. But other than that, everybody else was totally totally cool. Like we were like we were like we were good friends and stuff. It was it was cool. So I'm surprised. I don't know. Maybe it's because she doesn't look like a student. Maybe, I don't know. That's crazy. She said the cops called her and said, "You need to leave her alone." That's nuts, man. That's nuts.
Guys, the Washington State Police called me and said to leave her alone, that she'd been through enough for now, and I acquiesced to their demands. But I also found out from source very close to her that to this whole incident, that the police had questioned her extensively, including the FBI.
That, Allison, let me stick with you for a second. The fact that police called you and asked you to step back a bit, do you
Right?
think that means you could be testifying in this case?
Well, that's what I took it to mean. I mean, I'm sure that there was a flurry of activity. I was there long after the murders. I mean, this was probably like in May of 2023. So, and I've been there many times, but this was a time. And the fact that they were kind of on her speed dial, obviously she'd been having some issues with people approaching her. I went to her apartment.
Yeah, you people. All you fucking news people. Hello? That's why they went after your ass, and with me, they're like, "Hey, what's up, buddy?"
Yeah, it's different.
Because I'm not approaching them like drilling them for shit. I'm just trying to talk. We're just gonna, we're gonna talk about whatever. I'm just there to conversate. Because there's a lot of times that I wasn't even asking certain questions just because I wasn't there at that moment in time for some of these questions. It was just like, because I'm in their home. The last thing I want to do is walk in with muddy shoes,
Exactly.
I'd rather be respectful, take my shoes off, sit down, hang out for a while, get to know you, get to know you first, and then let's have serious conversations. So yeah, I'm not surprised at all. And I'm sure, I mean, hell, it's been how long now? I'm sure she's had enough people. You see some of the clown shows that take place, literally, clown shows that take place on this platform, and some of the chaos that they create with their wild clickbait narratives and stuff, and what it does to these people out there in these communities. Imagine, like, there's probably I can't imagine what she's probably gone through already. Just the fact that she reported what she reported. Now, this is what's going to be interesting, is if she does get introduced into this trial, I can't wait to find out, to hear if she really did let that man walk out of her fucking apartment without her knowing how to change her password. Because if he came over to help you,
Yeah.
he would have helped you learn the password too. It's come on now. So there's been a lot of manipulation, I'll just say. Even when you look at DM's statement, it's manipulated. It's manipulated. Make it fit. If it don't fit, it's not you must acquit. It's like you just make it fit. If it don't fit,
make something work. Yeah.
Just make it fit. Forget the acquit,
Left a note. She still had a Ring camera and was able to see who was there. And then I got the call from the police, and they did, the police can't tell you not to talk to somebody, but I understood that it seemed that it could possibly be interference with the actual case and step back.
Nima, are any other crimes wise, at least, for the defense to bring this up, or do you think this could backfire altogether?
It could backfire, but Allison talked about the potential motive here, and that's really the big question mark. Obviously, the big difference between the previous burglary and this one is Kohberger wasn't even a student at the University of Washington yet, and we know how important the cell site evidence was in this case. Obviously, we saw Kohberger's cell phone travel from Pullman into Idaho, not all the way to Moscow, but I'm sure that's something that the police ruled out. But the question that everyone has is, we know the motive isn't an element of the crime, but the jurors are going to want to know why someone did this. So I think Allison's reporting is spot on, and if that shows some sort of stalking or motivation, I think that would be helpful for the prosecution. But we also know there's a very, very broad gag order in this case. The witnesses, the parties, no one can talk about anything. So that may be the reason law enforcement had that conversation with Allison.
Allison, like you mentioned, you've been there several times. You've talked to people on the ground. With this new information, do you think that could change Kohberger, at least when it comes to the court of public opinion, what so many Americans may think about him currently after this murder, or the quadruple murder?
I mean, the burglary that I was talking about, or the one where he wasn't around and was cleared. I mean, I'm not sure.
Really, both of them. And now that the jury is certainly going to hear about this new evidence that's come out, do you think that might change any preconceived notions they may have of this suspect?
No, I think that if they're coming in and they are found to be unbiased and able to reach a verdict during voir dire, and that they speak to them, we're hoping that they will be unbiased and reach a conclusion based on the evidence. In terms of the general public, I think most people that you talk to think that he's guilty.
My Lord, listen, it's not DNA. It's not DNA science. It's a person that lived at a frickin' residence that's talking about security cameras and what took place during those time periods when it was installed, helped out, or burglary. It's not rocket science. These jury members are going to be able to sit back and listen to the story of this particular witness, if this even gets introduced.
Yeah, I don't think it will.
They're gonna sit back and listen to it, and I'm sorry. The jury's not back from cave people days. I'm sure they're gonna be able to figure it out. It's not DNA science here. It's not like, we need a lot of studies to see, and can you explain this to me? No, it's short, simple, quick, to the point. It ain't gonna be that difficult for the jury. So this is the national media here. Now, this is Court TV talking about it right here.
Now for what's tipping the scales. Brian Kohberger, the suspect in the 2022 brutal murders of 4 University of Idaho students, was previously investigated in a home invasion that happened a year before the college killings in Idaho. According to multiple reports on the investigation, police responded to the 2021 incident that was less than 10 miles from where those 4 Idaho students lived. Now, the woman and dad described a terrifying ordeal to police. Here's a listen to a portion of that body camera.
I have a couple questions for you.
Okay.
Where did you see this person?
I was asleep, and then I woke up
Okay.
And it was just me and Sadie home at the time, and we both lived down in the basement, and my door was closed. I heard my door open, and I looked over, and someone was wearing a ski mask and had a knife like this.
Okay.
And so I kicked the out of their stomach and screamed super loud, and they flew back into my closet and then ran out my door and up the stairs.
Okay, and that's the last you know as they ran up the stairs?
Yeah, and then when they got home, this back door was wide open.
Okay, how long ago did this happen?
Maybe 15, 20 minutes at most.
Okay. And so between the 4 of you, it's the whole house?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No one else is there?
There's another unit in the front, but there's just one person that lives down there. And then the 4 of us live upstairs.
Oh, it's just chilling. The ski mask, the knife, the back door. Now, this was, again, 1 year before the killing of those 4 university students. And then after, it was an unsolved case until then. And then after those killings and then the arrest of Brian Kohberger, police looked into Kohberger as possibly being connected to that home invasion as well. He was investigated and later cleared. But what we're asking is if this strange and eerily similar incident that happened just 10 miles away from where this quadruple murder happened, could it tip the scales in favor of Kohberger in his upcoming murder trial? Let's bring back in our panel to discuss. We have with us criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor Jack Rice, criminal defense and civil attorney John Phillips, and lieutenant and retired commanding officer of the Nassau County K-9 unit, Mike Gould, is with us as well. Mike, let me start with you. What's the process in going back through a case that is already unsolved, but then you get a new case, and I'm assuming it's not instant, but eventually there are some connections that are made?
Again, there's somebody else that just dropped a video from an hour ago. Is this a copycat? Oh my Lord. Is Kohberger a copycat now based off of this? It's getting crazy, you guys.
They know the order, right? Like, oh, okay.
You
right.
see that? 5-3 to 5-5. Oh my Lord. Oh my Lord. Oh my Lord. I'm gonna star this message because I'm sure I'm gonna.
You're gonna need it.
You know what? I need to put this here. 5-3 to 5-5, and then read your food labels. We'll add that to it. As well, right there. 5-3 to 5-5. Read your food labels. Okay. My Lord.
Right, Julia. Yeah, so there's remarkable similarities here. You know, one of the things, contrary to popular belief, eyewitness testimony is not as reliable as scientific evidence, photographic evidence, DNA, cell phone. So if they excluded him, I hope they're right, because there's only 2 possibilities. He was involved, which would help the prosecution, or he wasn't involved, and of course that's going to affect the defense, because now there's a murderer running around there that's.
He wasn't. Unless he grew fucking 7 to 12 inches in a. What is it with these people? There's so many experts. Oh my God, there's so many experts coming out. Like, what?
Coming out of the wallpaper? Yeah, I know.
Legal analysts, experts, Lord, like, what the?
Yeah.
Oh my Lord.
It's not Kohberger, but I'll defer to the attorneys on the legal minds on that. But from a
defer to the witness description, sir. 5-3 to 5-5. What the heck, man?
Police standpoint, they've obviously excluded him, but just because he wasn't the right height, I've had witnesses be off by 6 inches on.
Well, I guess you kind of have to be that tiny to fly into somebody's cupboard as well when they
Oh my God.
Just saying.
Oh my Lord. Nina, I'm an expert. 5'5".
How tall is that? I'm actually gonna look it up in language I understand.
I mean, hey, anybody can make up. Listen, who has seriously? Who has one of those freaking tape measures along the side of the building and a door and and everywhere? Like, who has those? Nobody. Like, so any of these are just guesses. any of these are just guesses. When it comes to the height, but come on, 5'3" to 5'5", that's pretty descriptive. It's not 5.5 feet to 6 feet. It's 5'3" to 5'5" is pretty descriptive. You're talking just a couple inches. That's it. Yeah, this guy. Well, I've had a client that I'm sure it's not. They weren't the first one either. But when you have this come out from law enforcement, okay, 5'3" to 5'5", it's descriptive. This has come out from law enforcement regarding this robber or burglary. It's 5'3" to 5'5". It obviously has nothing to do with it at this time. It's somebody that wanted to create some clickbait, and all of a sudden it spread like wildfire. And you got I Megyn Kelly even talks about it. But it's just these people on. It's just like when everything first started, and Koberger got arrested. There's all this new stuff that came out about how he was getting kicked out at restaurants and bars and all of these different things that he supposedly did. And then, and then as time goes on, it was like, oh, this is just a bunch of stuff that was created. It was, the clickbait stuff. And it's like the same thing. It feels like it's like back then, like all these news are jumping on this, like, yes, hey, of course he got looked into. Any suspect's going to get looked into for similar crimes. It's just automatic. His name could have been Brian Slimberger, and he would have been looked at for the crime if I mean, duh, come on. So to act like this is all some connection and we'll get to find out in court, like, come on, man, slow down. There's no reason for all that. Especially with here. Look, it's one thing if it's just 5'3", 5'5", but when you got a statement from law enforcement saying, look, we have no reason or evidence to have a connection with BK. So right there, yeah, then I'm going to double down on that witness statement, because who's to say they didn't, like, do some other more investigation into it to really see if that height matches the description based off of what they were witnessing as she was describing the events that took place, and her description of what she saw and what they can conclude to. They're used to having to figure out, this is a normal thing. Like, okay, we need to figure out about a profile, weight, height, all these things. There's so many witnesses that can't even give them an idea of a height or weight. And they have to come off, they have to figure it out on their own based off of the witness statement of what took place, based off of what they see and what they're being told, and they can find that out with that information at the same time as way that they're doing it.
You're cutting out a little bit. I don't know if it's just for me.
Oh, it might be my internet. I apologize if it is.
It was just a little bit. It was just a little.
But yeah, they're gonna do the same thing. It's just I don't understand why they're making it out to be this bigger thing than it really is.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, you guys.
They excluded him. I hope they're right, because there's only.
No, I just said it wasn't for a long time. So.
Yeah, we had tornadoes a few years ago.
Sorry, it's cutting out again.
Yeah, is it? All right. Let me know if it's better now. No, I apologize.
That's better.
We had tornadoes come through here a couple years ago, one year, and then the next year another one came through. And ever since those tornadoes a few years ago, back to back, it totally like messed up. I've had technicians out here 15, 20 times in that time period, replacing everything. And it's whatever kind of infrastructure that they have here that's, I don't know.
It's a lot better now.
I need to get Starlink sometime, because then I don't have to worry about it. I can literally just do my show from wherever and not have to worry about it. All right. I apologize. Here, I'll get back to this. This is more from Court TV, and they got more guests. We'll see what they have to say, too. And thank you all for being here. Appreciate it.
Only two possibilities. He was involved, which would help the prosecution, or he wasn't involved, and of course that's going to affect the defense, because there's a murderer running around there that's not Kohlberg. But I'll defer to the attorneys on the legal minds on that. But from a police standpoint, they've obviously excluded him. But just because he wasn't the right height, I've had witnesses be off by 6 inches on a person's height or weight. So it's not as reliable as people would think.
Yeah, those differences in the height could have been part of why they cleared him. It's addition to the fact that he was not found to have been in that area because he hadn't started school there in.
Are you muted, or is it the internet?
Oh no, I don't know. It might have did that on purpose too. I don't know. But at least you got one smart person on this Court TV panel, this host right here. Because yeah, he wasn't there, and it's a different height. Why are we even talking about the height and how we don't know if it could be him or not when we know that he wasn't in Washington State at that time?
Exactly.
Like, so at least we got, and shout out to her. She was on there when I was on there. She's awesome. At least she's smart.
So it's not as reliable as people would think.
Yeah, those differences in the height could have been part of why they cleared him. It's addition to the fact that he was not found to have been in that area because he hadn't started school there in Idaho or in Washington at that time. But Jack Rice, weigh in on that. Mike is talking about that potential for reasonable doubt if there's someone else who could have committed these crimes.
Yeah, anybody can. I can imagine how many people committed a crime with a mask and a knife. Come on, man. This is crazy.
The term we would call that is an alternate perpetrator. If you think about this, let's go back to 2021 for a second. And if I'm defending Kohlberger in a case like this, what I'm arguing is whoever it was in 2021 who did this, who broke into this house, what have we got? 10 miles away in Idaho, a man with a mask that is black, the black mask, that has a knife, that doesn't speak. It sounds everything like the person who killed the 4 students in Idaho in 2022. And so it's that same MO. And if you can pin that, really shift and move all of those guesses, all of those beliefs by the state to the 2021 case and say, the police cleared Kohlberger. It couldn't have been him. It was whoever it was in that house.
That can't be because of DM's statement. Like, DM's statement's different than the statement of this burglary. So it's not like you can use this to clear Kohlberger. It's 2 separate.
Yeah.
I mean, she states the same height or taller. DM is 5'11".
Yeah, and she did say taller.
She said same height or taller. Well, according to what was written down, same height or taller. So if this person was 5'3" to 5'5", DM would have looked at him and said, they're shorter than me. They came up to my chin.
Yeah.
They came up to my chin. Not my height or taller. I wish these people would really... How do they... This is what I don't understand. How do these people make it on these programs and with these opinions, man? I don't get it. It's like they don't... If I'm gonna be on a guest spot like I was, don't you think I'm gonna have everything frickin' prepared? And if I don't know something, I'm gonna look it up to make sure I look like I know what the F I'm talking about when I'm on national media television?
One would hope.
I would hope too, but these people, I guess not. It's the airtime. And this dude, what the hell is he even saying? It's a completely different statement from DM.
21 for a second. And if I'm defending Kohberger in a case like this, what I'm arguing is whoever it was in 2021 who did this, who broke into this house, what do we got? 10 miles away in Idaho, a man with a mask that is black, the black mask, that has a knife, that doesn't speak. It sounds everything like the person who killed the 4 students in Idaho in 2022. And so it's that same MO. And if you can pin that, really shift and move all of those guesses, all of those beliefs by the state to the 2021 case and say, the police cleared Kohberger. It couldn't have been him. It was whoever it was in that house at that time. What that does is it places much more of a burden on the state to articulate what they're saying.
No, it doesn't, because the state's gonna go, well, DM stated that it was the same height or taller. I hope somebody else mentions this stuff, Rosie, because it's gonna be... I'm gonna be very disappointed if nobody else mentions what DM stated about the perpetrator's height. And this guy's basically saying that I just... This is... It's so easy. It would be so easy for the prosecution to argue. There's a witness statement right here. Like,
yeah.
What? Hopefully somebody else says something here.
And not just say, trust us, we have it right. They better need to prove that it's right for a jury of 12.
The state.
John Phillips, what does this development, this released body camera footage say to you about the case, if anything?
Look, sometimes as a lawyer, you work, you study your case, you do everything you can, and sometimes a little luck falls on your desk. And for the defense team, this is exactly what happened. You know, they've got a factually similar incident when your client didn't meet the physical requirements, didn't meet the geographical requirements, had an alibi, but it's enough to say wasn't me. And so, you know, sometimes you just need a little luck in the practice of law. And I think this is a big deal for the defense team, because you can just keep pointing. No, you know, they blame my client for everything. They blamed him here. They blamed him there. It's a fortuitous day, as they say.
Man, you can really get cool prizes from a Cracker Jack box.
But it's also like, why are they sort of villainizing the defense for being the defense? If they were, I don't think that they would even want to use this. But if they did, it's not like it's some kind of luck or just a mild inconvenience for people who think he's guilty. Like it's just, yeah.
Yeah. That's where these people are getting their frickin' degrees. That's where they're getting their degrees. What's up, Justice? Cracker Jack box.
I've never heard of such a thing, so.
Well, Cracker Jack, because over here, And for anybody that doesn't know, Rosie resides in South Africa. You never heard of Cracker Jack boxes? Okay. So you see this little thing right here? This little square prize inside. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you would get a box of Cracker Jacks. You get a box of Cracker Jacks. It's caramel popcorn. Okay, little teeny box, size of a macaroni box. You get Cracker Jack, caramel popcorn. You get a little teeny prize inside. Every single box had a prize, right? Sometimes you got cool little teeny prizes. Sometimes it was like a fake tattoo or something small and or like a little coin or just little prizes, right? Little prizes. But they were always so cheap, because they had to survive in the box, and it had to be like almost paper thin in a way, and it could only be like this big. So the prizes were just meant to be like a gimmick for you to buy it. Hey, you get a little sticker, you get a little something. That's where these people got their degrees from.
That was so lost on me. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. No, because there's people that are in South Africa and other countries that might not have even heard of Cracker Jack either. Yeah. And I want to explain it because I don't want, like somebody, well, I don't know what that. Hey, these people right here, except for this lady up here in the top left. These three people right here got their damn degrees from Cracker Jack boxes because she's the only one that said anything. Basically, he wasn't there, and he's not the same height. These other people, oh yeah, it's gonna be a great day, and all this. It's like, what the hell is going on? You know what's going on? Cracker Jack box. That's what's going on. Cracker Jack. All right, let's see what else they have to say. I'm telling you, these people today. And it makes me, I haven't watched any of Megyn Kelly's yet. I just seen Howard Bloom was on there. I seen she was on there he was on there a couple days ago, and I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta play this one.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta play this one.
They don't mention any of the alternate stuff though, but it's still yeah.
All right. Yeah, we'll see. Cracker Jack box.
Love the demonstrative aid, John Phillips. Let's take a look back, though, at more of that body camera footage, again, from this October of 2021 incident that happened in Washington, very close to where Bryan Kohberger would eventually become a student.
It's just important to, how they're holding the knife and stuff I have to articulate that, yeah.
So yeah, she was holding the knife above her.
Okay, so this is all what she told you. You didn't see any of this?
Yeah,
okay.
I didn't see any of this. I was in my room and the doors was closed.
And she kicked him?
Yeah.
Did she say where she kicked him?
She said she kicked him in the stomach.
Kicked him in the stomach. So did she say how or motion?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I'm assuming she probably just, and like the way that her room is set up, her bed is right here, against the wall. And then the door is right here, directly next to it. So when they walk in, they would be standing like right here, next to her bed. And so I'm assuming she got up and kicked them because she has a closet that's right here.
Okay.
And her bed is right here, and so they were right here. I'm assuming she kicked them.
Okay.
The stomach, they fell up into the closet, and then they ran upstairs.
Oh, it's just eerie, Mike, when you hear this. And I'm wondering how much attention this incident got during that time to help people be on more alert. I don't know, didn't live in that area during that time, but what are you hearing about potentially a suspect who could have escalated? Because thankfully, these victims were able to survive this unharmed.
Right. So first of all, this is a suburban, maybe a rural area. So I don't think home invasions are that common. So whether it got media attention or not, we don't know that. But the victim's reaction to this probably saved their lives. At one point, he got scared and ran away.
See, this guy obviously doesn't know what he's talking about either. because if he did, he would know that the University of Washington created a program that hired Washington State University students to work with law enforcement to create some kind of surveillance for the community that would keep people safe. This motherfucker don't even know what he's talking about. Oh my lord. Again. Cracker Jack box.
Okay.
These, oh my lord, this is too much. How are these people being highlighted on a continual basis, and people like us, Rosie, don't even you know what like it just doesn't make any sense.
No.
You could get more content value out of people from our platform instead of people like this, because they don't even know what the F they're talking about.
Yeah, it doesn't even. They're not as familiar with the case either. Like,
not at all. Not at all. Because if they were, listen, we're not even law students, and we know what we're talking about. If they were, they would be like, well, every one of them, I guarantee you. She wouldn't have even had to say that he wasn't there and that it was a different height, and they would have brought up DM statement. They would have brought up these different things, and every single one of them would have said what she said. It's a different height. He wasn't in the state at the time. I don't see how this would, they would all kind of come to that conclusion. Unfortunately, I think you're exactly right, Rosie. I don't think any single one of these people, except for the lady host in the top left, knows very much about this case at all.
no, but you can hear that often. They usually do make slip-ups with the facts.
Even minimal information that should be like when I come up with read your food label shirt. Yeah, that's hello. I come up with it because it's like, what the hell are we doing? We're not even looking at the first pieces of information in the case before we look to see what's inside. I mean, come on. And these people, well, personally, I don't really feel like there's a lot of crime in there. Look up the statistics, bro. My gosh, these people.
Right. So first of all, this is a suburban, maybe a rural area. So I don't think home invasions are that common. So whether it got media attention or not, we don't know that. But the victim's reaction to this probably saved their lives. At one point, he got scared and ran away. But again, the similarities are considering the geographic area of the country this is in. It's very unique. So the hope is, and again, all the defense has to do is show reasonable doubt. They need one juror to say, "Come on now, there's just too much." So it's going to be incumbent on law enforcement to really exclude that and make that alibi stick. And who knows if private investigators or somebody else is going to find out that he could possibly be the suspect, and that's all.
Private investigate. Oh my lord, dude! He really doesn't know anything about this. You don't need a private investigator. Read. Oh my gosh! Read Exhibit A from Brett Payne, sir. That's all you have to do. You're in a hotel room. You couldn't have frickin' read it while you're having your complimentary eggs and buttered toast and coffee down at the lobby, bro?
There's just no time.
I mean, you got dressed up in a suit with a nice little blue silk hanky in the pocket. I mean, you're looking, sniffy, man. Like, you're going to tell me you didn't have your complimentary eggs, toast, and coffee at the lobby? Damn straight you did. Why didn't you read Exhibit A from Brett Payne? Any of them. Especially him, though. Damn, now eggs and toast and coffee sound good, and I just got coffee. All right, we're good.
It's breakfast time for you.
We're halfway there. I ain't gonna have no eggs and toast. Yeah, That's why I had to bump the show back. I apologize, you guys. I slept through like 5 or 6 alarms and then frantically reached out to Rosie about 20 minutes before the show was about to start. And I said, Rosie, please, I'm so sorry. Can we bump it back? I just need a little bit of time. What?
I did not mind.
I apologize. Listen, and I'm only going off of like a couple hours of sleep because I was up late from the show last night and then the work I was doing after the show. And then I had issues trying to get to sleep. And then I ended up sleeping for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. And then, yeah, it's just, it's a hell of a morning. And I'm sure it's going to be a hell of an evening later on when we have our show as well. We will be back later tonight. But yeah, eggs do sound good.
Bill has to be, he has to possibly be it. And that might take one juror and say, look, this is no good.
Jack Rice, I know it's going to be infuriating for the family of these victims when if they see a filing like this from the defense, but what can we be on the lookout for? What will indicate that this is where they go with it, or do they save it for trial and perhaps something that they bring out in their case?
Well, a couple of things I'm thinking about. If I'm defending Kohberger, one of the things I will first do is I'm going to start making discovery demands to see what else they have on this.
They can't even get the discovery demand. They can't even get the discovery demands that they've been asking for a year.
They don't know.
And a half.
Anything. No.
This guy. He's just happy to be on camera. Look at him. He is just happy to be on camera. First thing I do.
He's fucking that way.
Oh my gosh. This is too much. I apologize. I didn't know this 10-minute video would turn into 35-minute Cracker Jack session. This is too much. Excuse me. This is funny. This is needed because I need some laughs right now.
One of the things I will first do is I'm going to start making discovery demands to see what else they have on this, what they have on this specific investigation, what they did, what they failed to do. And then I want to expand that, because if this is just coming out now, how many others did they botch? If I'm making the argument that the failure was on the state to investigate this case correctly, I want to see what they did and failed to do. Then finally, and every jurisdiction is a little different, some actually require that you file an alternate perpetrator a brief, which is essentially saying there was somebody else who did it. You can't just bring it out of the sky. You need to bring more evidence. And this may be required.
Okay, I'm going to fill you in, okay? When you go on court TV. Oh my God, this guy. And I'm not sure if they do this or not with that, you know, when it comes to, listen, I'm going to fill you in when it comes to court TV. When you're making a panel guest appearance on court TV, you know what you're talking about, people. You know what, yes, you know what you're talking about. And when they set up these shows, they're giving you like a day to 2 days notice, okay? It's not one of these things where they call you up that morning and then they say, hey, guess what, CJ? You want to come talk to us on it? No. CJ, would you be able to make it tomorrow? If tomorrow wouldn't work, would you be able to make it the day after? We're going to discuss this. We're going to discuss this. And if you'd like to offer any of this about this or this or this, you're more than welcome. We're interested in this from what we're, you know, we're interested and we've seen this and we'd like to have permission for this. You know what I mean? Like, you know what you're going to talk about. You know what the topics are going to be. So these people to show up and not only not read Exhibit A from Brett Payne, but you're not even going to look at the different laws or crime rates or any of these statistics that you can literally look up in a moment's time to be able to sit there and show these people. Instead, it's like, well, I'm not sure what they can do here. That to me shows a lack of professionalism.
And preparedness, yeah.
Yes, because you know what the test is, but you're not even worried about practicing or looking into or trying to take that opportunity to bring more information than what sits there already.
Yeah.
I'm just shocked.
There'll be one guy, I think it's this panel, where he doesn't say anything at all. He's just like,
yeah, this guy. Yeah.
I will first do is I'm going to start making discovery demands to see what else they have on this, what they have on this specific investigation, what they did, what they failed to do. And then I want to expand that, because if this is just coming out now, how many others did they botch? If I'm making the argument that the failure was on the state to investigate this case correctly, I want to see what they did and failed to do. Then finally, and every jurisdiction is a little different, some actually require that you file an alternate perpetrator brief, which is essentially saying there was somebody else who did it. You can't just bring it out of the sky. You need to bring more evidence. And this may be required in that case. But it does do one other thing, Julia. It does bring into the possibility of negotiation, because there's a possibility of the death penalty in a case like this. And if the state's case just got a little bit weaker, you may be driving them in a different direction right now. It depends upon how this plays out before trial begins.
Oh, I think that's a really good point to bring up the death penalty. John Phillips, last 30 seconds, your thoughts on Jack's position on whether this could be something that can be used as a negotiating tool.
Absolutely. You know, everything my fellow panelists have said, I agree with. And I don't need to add to it, except happy holidays, everybody.
All right, we will leave it there. John Phillips, thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, everyone, I'm Megan Kelly.
All right. Oh, hey.
Now for what's tip.
Murder trial coming up.
A social.
Oh my gosh. What the hell is going on here? Now it's going all over the place. Hold on. Okay, so we already saw this. Hold on one second. There it is, right there.
Hey, everyone, I'm Megan Kelly.
Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just, because I don't know if you saw everything you sent me earlier, but the one was a duplicate, so I was just telling you.
Oh, okay. Dang, she's already got 3.15 million. Wow, she just started her channel like a couple years ago. Let me see. So here, I'm gonna post this. This is Megan Kelly's channel. Right there. And then I will have the source posted as well. That's crazy. I seen some. If we hit 50,000 views, then I'll do part 2. And I'm like, damn, just do part 2 because it's for a missing child. You know? Quit worrying about the views and just do the damn part 1, part 2. And who cares if you 50,000 views? Come on, man. Like, that's, I mean, hell. I don't, if I needed 50,000 views to do another show, oh my gosh, I only get like 4,000 or 5,000 views, if that, you know, like, damn, man, just do it because it's a missing kid. Quit trying to pimp your shit for views. Do it because it's a missing kid. Sebastian. All right.
I don't know who you're talking about, but
well, I'm not gonna say the name, but it's like it's more the me shit. I need 50,000 views to do a part 2 on this Sebastian Rogers topic.
Okay.
Why? You should just be you already know that there's people that are interested. Why to do just do it, man. It's for the missing child. It's for awareness. Why put it behind some, I don't know. Donate this much before I go help somebody. No. That's basically what it's like. Donate this much before I go help this community, people. When have I ever said that? All I said is thank you for your help because it helps me be able to go do what I'm doing. I've never once said, I need you to do this before I go do this. I always just went to go do it. I don't know. I just saw it as I was switching these videos and it popped up on my feed onto the side and I'm just like, bleh, yuck. All right. Sorry. Little burp moment there. All right. This is Megyn Kelly. She's going to be discussing with Howard Bloom, and then I'll drop the link in the episode so you can have that too. So you can go ahead and show some love. Hit the like button like I do ask you all to do on any of these that we do share or go through. So there's the link for that. You can go ahead and click on it and then hit the like over there, leave a heart or a trophy, and then come back over, because by the time you come back over, then you'll see Howard Bloom come back on. So in about 2 minutes, Howard Bloom will come back on. We're going to listen to Megyn Kelly and what she has to say to start it off.
Hey everyone, I'm Megyn Kelly. Welcome to the Megyn Kelly Show and today's True Crime Christmas special. Hope you and your family had a great Christmas. And now you can relax and unwind with the latest on the case of the alleged Idaho murderer, Bryan Kohberger. I don't know why true crime is a getaway of sorts, but it kind of is. It just takes your mind off of what's going on in your own life, the to-do list that's constantly humming, and lets you focus on something else that's serious, that requires attention, and in this case, a bit of a mystery too. There's a lot to dig into with Howard Bloom. He's the author of the book, When the Night Comes Falling, which includes much of his extensive and amazing reporting on this case. The big news is a trial is scheduled, and it's now just months away. We'll get into that, plus all the avenues the defense is likely to employ when it comes to genetic genealogy, cell phone pings, and much, much more. Watch.
Damn, I need that microphone. That microphone is amazing that she has. I don't know what it is, but damn, that thing is amazing.
Yeah.
I have to look real quick. Because some creators put the equipment that they use in their description. Okay, I guess not. Man, that's a nice microphone. Sorry. I need a new microphone because it might be my microphone, not just my internet too, because my microphone a couple days ago started kind of going in and out. It was my first ever microphone that I got for the show, and so it's been rolling for 3 years, and it's been doing a really good job.
Yeah.
But I think it's probably close to the end of its life cycle. So
It sounds fine now.
Yeah, I'm going to have to get a new one from it. All right, sorry. I'm half asleep. I'm sorry. All right.
Don't miss a moment. Subscribe to this show on YouTube and follow me on Insta, Facebook, and X. Did you know that homeowners in America, nationwide, they have over $32 trillion?
Oh my gosh. I need to make like a goofy one of these, like a commercial. That's just a goofy commercial. Because everybody, they start their videos and then after 30 seconds in, hey, does your cat like cat food? Right? Yes, it does. Oh, click the code. Okay.
There is something to do with pets at the end of this one. I'm not sure what though.
Is there really? Oh my gosh. All right, we're skipping that. All right, this is Howard Bloom with his really cool looking blue purple sweater, unless it's just the lighting.
All right, so we now finally think we have a trial date and that this thing is going to start August 11th, 2025. It's been moved to Boise out of Moscow, and they're estimating it's going to take till, they got very specific, November 7th, August 11th to November 7th. That's all that can change. But it's been moved.
Okay, I thought we were talking about, is he talking about Louis? I can't do it because that's That's why YouTube got mad at me. I don't know what I did, but YouTube got mad at me for a week and a half. Talking about that guy right there. I guess freedom of speech is not a real thing over here. Whoops.
And it's finally set. It's taken forever. I know the families, some of them are annoyed that it has taken this long to finally get a trial date. And I predict this one will probably be pushed too. But now we have a new judge. Judge is gone. And Judge Hippner, I think, is in, right?
Hippler.
Is that
Hippler.
Hippler. It's like very close to the other name that sounds just like that, I've got to say. And so where...
Hipper. Oh, my Lord. Okay, never mind. They don't even know that. Like, come on. I even was like, how do you pronounce this? And I looked it up and I wrote it down before the show when I first did a show when he became a judge. You got to prepare.
Where do things stand? How do you like where the defense is at this point, so close now to potential trial?
What the defense has to do at this point is to raise as many questions as possible. I say that even though every time the defense appears in the courtroom, Ann Taylor, the lead defense attorney, makes it a point of putting her arm, rather maternally even, around Kohberger and saying, I believe 100% in his innocence. And yet, what she has to do, the dialectics of her case, is to raise questions. And unfortunately, for anyone who believes that Kohberger is guilty, as I do, there's a lot of questions she can raise. The first one is the Brady evidence. Evidence that should have been given to the defense has not been given to them. This involves forensic genetic material. They have not gotten all of it. They had to go to court. The prosecution was holding back. Why the prosecution would hold back on this immediately raises questions. What are they trying to cover up? This is America. Give them everything. I'll let the jury see everything. Don't give an excuse for the jury to have any doubts. But they've only given back some of it. What specifically they've given still remains under seal. But I think this genetic information that the defense has is going to raise questions about when and how did the authorities know about Kohberger. One of the attorneys involved.
This is big. Just to set this up, you broke this in airmail, as we mentioned in the intro, where you write. And it has to do with the knife sheath, the one piece of DNA evidence that we know of that was found in this case. And what we know now is that what they say is they found the knife sheath, they had it tested for DNA, they found touch DNA on it, which is legit, but not like the best. And they were able to get a hit in some DNA database that brought up the name Kohberger, in particular Kohberger's dad. And they could say this was the DNA of the killer's father. So they're claiming that's what, eventually brought us to Kohberger. That's sort of where we thought it was. And then they tested his DNA and they say, and that made it clear it was Kohberger. But you're saying not so fast. There may have been some shenanigans along the chain.
No crap. It's what all of us have been saying from back then. And people are like, oh gosh, it's a slam dunk. And it's like, you got the leading experts telling you that you don't use it to convict people. You don't use it to convict. Now, you use it to exonerate, yes. Because what you're doing is you're creating... It's like I tell people, it's like chunks missing out of a tire, and you're making your own replacement chunks to put back into the tire and saying, look, it's that same tire. That's what you're doing. And it's manipulating. You're manipulating it. That's why the leading experts in the field will tell you it's not even a science. There's no degree for it. it's an artwork. It's you can't even get a degree. It's not a science. So, of course there were shenanigans. Of course. When you got it going from one lab to the next lab, you're talking touch DNA, 21 skin cells. How many of those 21 skin cells are left when it's leaving ISP number 1? How many of those 21, because every test that you run, you have to run with new samples. New samples. You don't run the same test with the same sample. You have to run new samples. How many skin cells were left after ISP? How much was before it was, because I think it went to somewhere else. WSU first. That's just me. Then ISP. Then Orthram. And then in the middle of Orthram, they were in the middle of what they were doing, and they were stopped and it was taken from them. And then this is why I think you haven't seen a lot come out when it comes to the homework that they did to obtain the profile, is because they used a technology that they don't want out in the public to get that. And the reason I say that is because Bill Thompson was arguing the same damn thing about another court case where they couldn't introduce the homework to how they got the DNA profile because the FBI was assisting in the investigation, and the FBI used technology that they did not want released to the public, which is the same thing of what they did here. They basically gave Bill Thompson and the investigation team the tip. Here, we're not going to give you the homework because we can't, but here's the tip of how we got to what we got to. Okay? That's why I feel like Bill Thompson was like, all right, let's go, da-da-da-da-da. Listen, we'll get you. This is why there was so many discovery requests for the same thing over and over and over. Look, we'll get it to you. We're asking them, Judge. We can ask them again. We can ask them again, but we're asking them, Judge. And we can't make them hand over something that they can't hand over. We simply, like he said, we simply cannot give somebody something that we don't have. And when he's using previous court cases to explain, look, Judge, they didn't have to hand over this homework because the FBI is working with us. Hello. I don't think they're going to, because I also think they obtained it illegally when it came to the DNA that came to these 23andMe's and all this other stuff. I think they went through back doors that they weren't, that you're supposed to have a protocol to go through those and to be able to use those in investigations. And I think they didn't check mark the box saying they were law enforcement.
I agree. I also think that. And another thing that does come up, like a lot of people will say it's not significant because it can just be retested. But like you've said, they're not acknowledging the actual size of that sample and how tiny it is and how it's being like extracted again and again and again and how many times that's already happened. And it even comes up like here where it's like, no, it's not a big deal. It can just be retested. And people don't acknowledge like, no, it can't. It's done.
No, that's why they were so excited it went to Orthram, because they already ran out of the samples during their first couple tests, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
They already ran out of samples, and that's why they were so excited it went to Orthram, because hey, cool, because we're not finding anything. We can't find anything. What are we trying? Well, let's go to a cold case. What do cold case laboratories do? They recreate DNA based off of samples that are not full samples of the DNA.
And a lot of those cold cases, the samples that they've taken, there's been more than one at the scene as well. So this is even more unusual because you're literally just working with a button. Like that's it. A lot of those cases that they're referencing, there's been more than one sample at the scene. Like different lots.
Right. Yeah. And they have a lot more information. This right here, it's kind of like this. You could have, think about DNA. And you have, like I'm saying, you got that tire that has a whole bunch of chunks missing out of it, right? And you got that tire right there. Now, when you're talking about DNA, think about all the different codes in one strand of DNA. All the A's and B's and C's and D's and all, about all the different combinations, right? And you take out a tremendous amount of those codes with all of those possibilities. Don't you think that tire that has a bunch of chunks is going to be easy to match up to any other freaking tire because you're missing most of the other codes and you're making them up as you go? That's what this is. And so, yes, of course, Daddy's DNA could freaking match because it's missing the one code that would have been off, or the however many codes that would have been off that doesn't match what it would have matched if the whole tire was, the structure was there. It could be so easy to match it up. That's why it's not a science. Because if it was, and this shit was legit, like 100% for sure, then it's a science. Then there's degrees. Then you can, you can go to different levels. But no, it's not. It's, hey, we're trying something new. We're trying something to see if we can perfect it over time. Just like how they tested DNA in the 90s in the beginning, right? It was a new thing. You learn as you go along. You perfect it. This right here is like, I'm sorry. You could literally take this arm off and put somebody else's arm on me, and you're not going to tell me that that's 100% the same. That's basically what you can do. You're changing the codes, and then you're making up the codes, because if you had the code, right? If you had the full code, you would have the full code, but you don't. You're adding to it. You're manipulating it. You're making something that isn't its true self. And I don't know how people could just double down on it. It makes no sense to me.
I don't know. I guess if you hear words, like DNA or lab or something, then people's mind does jump to like, okay, that's reliable. And at the end of the day, a lot of people, like myself included, don't fully understand how any of that is actually done. So, yeah.
I don't either, but I mean, hell, this is when we were going through, because we had a good week, I think, back then when we went through all the different experts. We went through I think it was I don't know. I'm in the middle of my show. I'll check it in a little bit. Does it pertain to what we're talking about here? Stafford Court. That's about another case that I'm talking about. We're talking about Idaho 4 right now. So if I appreciate it, I'll check it later. It's not something that we're discussing right now. We're on a different topic. What was I saying? What was I? Sorry, I got distracted. I don't even remember. I'm half asleep, so I don't even remember what I was discussing.
Well, you were talking about how when we went through all of the different expert testimony a while ago.
Yeah, I went through we had a period where where we went through like 5 different experts. Some of them were on the stand testifying in the court hearings in the beginning. Some of them were on different podcasts talking about the touch DNA and how they investigate it and how it's a science and what they're trying to do for the future and what it can possibly do to other cases to come. And I'm sitting there, and then we're listening and digging into all of this other stuff when it comes to the DNA, and at the same time we're watching the people testify about the issues when it comes to using this kind of DNA to convict somebody and how it can be manipulated, how it can be twisted. And I'm sitting there going, dang, we're probably gonna see, we probably watched in hours, time hours, we probably watched and discussed more about this new DNA stuff than what the jury is probably going to be exposed to. And if we're confused about how this is going to make sure that somebody's 100%, for sure, well, then I can imagine what the jury is gonna feel, right? And when it comes to the lack of knowledge, because DNA, it's confusing stuff. Like like you really like the science is amazing, but that's gonna be the thing is when it comes to the DNA, yes, the DNA words are like huge. You do hear DNA and you think automatic slam dunk, no
Right.
matter what. Oh, he's guilty as hell, period. But when you look into the actual type of DNA and how it's investigated and what can happen, the mistakes that can happen, the contamination that can take place. That's one of the reasons why Ann Taylor in the very beginning was requesting the training records and any of the employees that touched the DNA, that were investigating, that were doing the lab work, anybody that even handled the DNA wanted to know their training records, wanted to know if they got reprimanded for anything while on the job when it came to handling DNA and things like that, because of how highly contaminated this type of DNA can be. And so it's very important, especially when it comes to contamination.
Yeah.
You're talking this much right here. And if you can manipulate that DNA, what if somebody that was just handling it from location to location accidentally touched the wrong part, and next thing you know, they're getting thrown in the slammer because, well, that's your DNA that was on this. No, that's how dangerous it can be. That's why it's a science. So yes, they're going to in court. And I think, and this is why I say in any of the shows, I feel like the DNA is going to be the part that is most argued and is going to be the littlest of value, because you can see how it already was going to be argued in the court hearings that we've already seen with the experts up there. That gives you a perfect example of the stuff you're going to hear. And when you're hearing that stuff right there, you already have reasonable doubt. I got reasonable doubt as soon as I heard those people talking, those experts talking about the DNA, because before then, same thing, DNA. Well, I mean, DNA is DNA. But then when you start to learn what type of DNA and how it's handled and investigated and worked on and tested, oh yeah, there's so many things. And this too, Mark and Betty, that's right. The gloves, the dirty DNA gloves that we showed from outside the crime scene, And then people are like, no, that's not the same person. Yeah, it is. I showed you the video and the same thing, showing everybody it's the same people outside as it was inside, snapping those photos and picking up evidence. And you know those gloves were dirty based off of how those were handled.
Yeah,
Think about the touch DNA on those latex gloves that they used to go touch evidence that they dropped on the ground. There could have been touch DNA on the ground.
On the shoe.
Right. And the lady that stepped on the glove, like I said, could have went to Jack in the Box before she went to go do the evidence, pictures.
Yeah.
Could have went to Jack in the Box, and guess what? Maybe Koberger walked out of there and spit on the ground, and she walked in the spit. And next thing you know, his spit that was on her shoe from Jack in the Box all of a sudden ended up on the glove that then they brought in to take the photos and handle the evidence. Whoa, how would Brian Koberger's evidence get on the inside of a button snap? I don't know, because maybe somebody with the DNA dirty glove opened it up to see if there was anything on the inside.
Yeah, of course. I mean, there's a number of things it could be. It's too small a sample, and
it wasn't even blood.
Yeah, exactly.
It wasn't even blood. You couldn't even see it. So even if you did open it and looked at the button snap, you couldn't even see it.
And I mean, that's a crime where you would expect the perpetrator to bleed. Like, really, a little bit at least.
Oh, for sure, somewhere. And if they didn't, there would have been a trace in the vehicle that they left in, that they supposedly sped out at a high rate of speed. Because if you're gonna, well, yeah, just a couple minutes later, you walk out of that crime scene and then you're witnessed driving out at a high rate of speed. Man, that was a quick cleanup.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, that is a quick cleanup.
How did you clean up DNA so quick, where nothing gets in the car in just a couple minutes' time? But yet, before you showed up, you're looking like Joe Dirt trying to deliver a pizza. You don't know where you're going. You don't know where you're going. You're doing 3-point turns. You're doing 3-point turns in a T section where, I mean, hello, you look suspicious as hell. You're driving around, right? You're looking suspicious as hell. And then you're going to go in there, commit this crime like Batman. And then you're going to declothe like Superman going in a frickin' phone booth. Bam, with a snap of a finger, DNA gone, right? DNA gone within a snap of a finger, and then you're driving out of there in a high rate of speed.
Took time to get into it. I don't know.
I want to know what he's eating for cereal. That's what I want. I want that energy boost with the focus, the awareness, the effectiveness. I want to know what kind of cereal he's eating, because it ain't Wheaties. It's got to be like Cinnamon Life cereal or something.
I'm learning more snacks.
Cinnamon Life. That's where he's getting it from.
Cinnamon
Shout out.
Okay.
Yes, Cinnamon Life is one of my favorite cereals. Yes, it's good stuff. All right, we'll get back to this. We're only 5 minutes in. We might have to split this up or something.
I think we might have to.
How late can you go? I know it's getting kind of late now. How late can you go? You want to do this on the next episode? Cover this? Is it too late?
I can probably do another hour if you want. But I think to do everything, we'll probably have to do a part 2.
Let me think here. Let me see here. Let me because I apologize about being late. We probably would have been able to if I wasn't late. Let me see what else, and we'll save this for another episode where we get together. And let me see here. And then we can just focus on this whole thing on that show and discuss it, because it's already an hour long. Let me see here. Let me see what else I want to. Let me see here. Here we go. Okay, so let me see here. Let me see how long this is, because I wanted to cover this emotions. Okay, so we're gonna go to this. We're crime talk. Scott Reich. All right, I'm gonna share his channel with you guys. We're gonna switch to this. Scott Reich. Now, he did an episode. Did Brian Koberger confess? Now, I know that, and there's another video that he did, and I know that it like sent the community up in an uproar. He's also talking about an alternative suspect. I'm not going to get into that one. We're going to get into this one. When he was talking about Brian Koberger confessing. Did Brian confess? I don't know where he got that from. But that episode created a hoopla out there, did it not? I mean, I had so many messages coming to me like, do you know who Scott Reich is? I'm sitting there going, or Crime Talk, do you know who Crime Talk is? And I'm like, man, that sounds familiar, because I haven't watched his episodes for a long time. And we used to a lot in the very beginning. And when I was hearing about it, he's like, oh yeah, he's going off the deep end and this and that. And I'm sitting there going, whoa, wait a minute. The Scott Reich that I watched usually was like, he was actually like giving you the real shit that nobody wanted to like admit to, like, look, I've helped out these kind of criminals, and this is what typically happens. He was being like, he's giving you the facts without any of the filler. And so it was kind of nice. So I was kind of shocked. So I did want to check this out. And so what we'll do is on the next one, whenever you want to have that, next week, during the weekday, anytime, same time, if it's easier in the morning, my morning, or if you want to do it on the weekend, whenever, we'll definitely go through that episode completely on the next show that we do. This one, I'm going to go through this one. This is where he talks about Koberger and did he confess for about 20 minutes or so. And we'll check this one out. Now, I haven't watched this one, but I did get a lot of messages regarding it. So I'm interested to see what he actually said in this. I don't remember him even, unless I don't know how you would take this as a confession. Somebody saying, is there anybody else that was arrested?
Okay.
I don't know how you would. I don't know if that's what he's going off of, but I mean, we'll see. I did want to check it out, though. Thank you all for being here. We'll definitely be going into that other one on the next show. And I think that'll be good. Save the whole thing for a new show. This is Scott Reich, channels at the bottom.
Look at the Brian Koberger motions that were filed by the defense back in November. Now, the government just filed their responses, and basically there's not a whole lot there in the government response other than saying, hey, everything is fine. Trust us, judge. Nothing to worry about. But the one motion that I would love to have access to is the motion for the Franks hearing. Now, normally a Franks hearing is saying that there's some sort of false statement that was made with some sort of reckless disregard, and therefore you can have a hearing and you can see if everything after that is basically should be suppressed. All right. And that is the gist of most of the motions as it relates in the Brian Koberger matter. All right. First one, motion to suppress and memorandum of support as it relates to the Amazon account. All right. Now, when you go back and you look at this file, there were search warrants to just about everybody under the sun, probably had an app on Brian Kohberger's phone. But you move to suppress when there's something incriminating. So what's interesting as it relates to the motion to suppress from Amazon is, yes, all the information and the details as it relates to what he had purchased. I wonder what he purchased. Was it perhaps maybe, something we have here on our desk? That's right, the infamous K-bar.
I'm sorry. It's these. Listen, this is the only case where I've seen people literally go, and it looks something like this, the K-bar. It's the only case, and people that don't even have a K-bar. So there's even some people that don't even have a K-bar where they're like, and it looks little something like this. I'm just holding up my keys because I'm not gonna. I don't. What I mean? It's like, yeah, it looks a little something like this, and they're all
That was
proud
weird.
and shit. They're all proud and shit. I don't get it.
I don't know.
It's a thing. I don't know. You can show your knife on camera. I mean, maybe because you shouldn't be showing your weapon on camera, because I can pull that out, but we're not going to do that. It's just, even the people, it's one thing when they do the K-bars, but the people that don't even have one is like, well, it's about this size. And it's like, oh my God, people. Oh my Lord.
Well, of course they don't articulate what was purchased, but they're looking for basically the information. And what they have said is that all the genealogical information that the government used to search for and find Brian Kohberger was obtained illegally. And so they're saying that if you suppress the genealogical information that the FBI obtained and created this profile to say, hey, it must be Brian Kohberger, everything flows from there.
Yeah.
So like I said, you don't file a bunch of motions to suppress on.
Yeah, because this is why they had turned in. Okay, I don't know if people realize this or not. I honestly don't know if people realize this or not. They turned in that exhibit, the PCA, multiple times before they were able to get a signature to go after Kohberger. And you know what they needed? They kept pushing it and it got denied. They kept pushing it and it got denied. And it finally got accepted when the DNA part was added to
Tweaking, yeah.
to the paperwork. Without the DNA, there would have been no arrest. Without this DNA addition, there would have been nothing.
Right.
Of course, if there's some issues with how the DNA was obtained, well then yeah, everything else should be because it got denied until the Mythical. I don't know if people know that. This is from way back then. It got denied and finally got accepted and signed from the judge when the DNA was added. That's why I always said, if you don't have the DNA, you don't have the PCA. And that was a t-shirt I made a couple years ago. If you don't have the DNA, you don't have the PCA, because that's what you needed in order for it to get it signed. I know. I need to I got my list, and people keep telling me I need to start making my shirts.
Well, now you have reading food labels as well to add.
I know. Read your food labels with some expired canned food and somebody getting ready to dig into it like they just got it at the store. Gross. All right, back to this. It got denied until they added the DNA on the PCA, and then they finally signed it.
Information that's completely irrelevant. You file it on something that you want to make go away. So something at Amazon the defense wants to make go away. The gist of the argument is that it was an overly broad warrant, and it was obtained based upon information as it relates to genealogical information, which was obtained illegally. And therefore, guess what? If you take that out, you can't say that Bryan Kohberger was in fact the guilty party, and to make that go away. The search of the apartment, same basic argument. The affidavit submitted in support of the application for the search warrant included information that must be excised.
That's right. All these other search warrants, whether it was Pennsylvania or Washington, if you read their search warrants, they both say, the only reason we're doing this is because of what Idaho gave us.
Yes, exactly.
Because they don't want the searches, or if they were illegal or not, to come back on them, because they probably looked at the stuff they got from Idaho and went, man, this is some shoddy... Right? They probably went, this is some shoddy work. And we better cover our ass on this, Jim. All right. Right? We better cover our ass on this.
That contamination goes all the way through to everything that was done. So they have to.
And they were smart. Washington and PA both said, look, hey, we're only doing this because they gave us this and it was signed from a judge. That's why we're doing it. So yeah, what he's saying right here, it's a domino effect. You needed the DNA to get the PCA, then to get to all the other stuff. So if the DNA wasn't obtained properly, well, then what happens? Everything else is gone. Has to be. And with the Amazon, okay, so you bought a K-bar. How many people buy a K-bar? I wonder how many people got a K-bar for Christmas this year. Oh, shit. Right? Oh, shit. And how do I think the DNA, if it is his DNA, how do I think the DNA got on the sheath? The inside of a button, 21 skin cells? Because dude probably took it to a pawn shop, and one of Kaylee or Maddie, probably Maddie's, because I think Maddie had it in her room for protection. And I think somebody bought it for her at a pawn shop for protection, because after this whole knife sheath stuff came out, it totally changed how I shopped at stores. And you can go all the way back to those shows. And I was telling you back then, you guys, I feel like I shouldn't even pick up something at the damn grocery store. I used to go to the store and I would pick something, not even really intending to buy it. Sometimes I just like going just to look. It's, I used to do it as a kid. I couldn't afford much, but it felt cool to go read the shit and go look at it and hold it in my hand for a moment. You know what I mean? Like, oh, wow, this is cool. Yeah. So when I go to stores, I'm going to, oh, this is cool. Let me check it out and just kind of look at it and check it out for a minute and read the back and stuff. And it totally changed how I shop now. I don't touch nothing unless I'm really intended on buying it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't. Because I don't know if I touch this coffee cup from Walmart that I thought about purchasing, but I put it back on the shelf, and then some psychopath comes and takes that coffee cup and needs a coffee cup while he's committing his crime, and then he leaves the damn coffee cup where he committed the crime, and next thing you know, my damn touch DNA is on the damn coffee cup, and I'm getting hauled in.
Yeah.
Same thing.
I don't blame you.
Same thing. That's why it changed how I shop. So when it comes, yes, it could be, and they're not rare. You could he had 5 of them. You're a college student. I'm sure you're going to be low on money at some points. Your parents aren't made of money, you know that. Hello. They're not made of money. You're all the way across the country. You're trying to make it. You can't be getting paid too much. You know what I mean? Hey, I'm going to sell. I just sold some damn Wii games the other day. Just, some that were worth quite a bit, but it was like, hey, I need a little extra, so I went and sold a couple Wii games that were like $50 and $60 value, a few of them that I had from a long time ago. My touch DNA's on that, you know what I'm saying? People are going to do that as a concept, and then I could definitely see somebody giving it to Maddie as a gift.
It's cutting out again a little bit. Sorry.
I could see somebody giving it to her as a gift. Hey, I bought it from a pawn shop. It's not brand new. I got it cheap at the pawn shop, half price. Here, just use it for protection. Have it up here in case you need it. You are upstairs by yourself now. I would hate for something to happen to you. I don't want you holding a gun because maybe you don't know how to handle it, or don't want, and a knife is easier, something that's easy and all that. So I apologize about the internet, you guys. I'm going to try and see if I can get them coming back out here. I don't know. It's just frustrating because I pay so much. I pay for the gigabyte high speed, and it's like, why am I even having to deal with this? Especially when I have people come out here 15 to 20 times in the last 2 years to fix and replace everything because I continue to have these issues. I don't know what else I'm supposed to do other than move or get Starlink. But it's frustrating because this is my livelihood, and I don't even know if it's doing it, and that's the bad part. I don't even know.
It's not right now. If that helps.
All right. We'll get to some more of this here. This is him talking about it. But yes, you get rid of no DNA, no PCA. It's how it's been. That when they denied it until they got the PCA, no DNA, no PCA.
Because it was obtained in violation of the Constitution of the state of Idaho. And all the information in the affidavit was gathered because of law enforcement's unconstitutional use of investigative.
Oh, no, he got Katrina. He got K-bars it wasn't just from Amazon. He got K-bars from all sorts of different businesses. Blue Ridge Knife Company. I can't remember there was 4 or 5. Do you remember, Rosie? There was like 4 or 5, and they were all different companies. The one that sticks out to me is the Blue Ridge, because I used to drive by Blue Ridge on my drives out to Myrtle Beach. So when I would go out to Myrtle Beach, I would drive by Blue Ridge. What is it called? Blue Ridge. Oh my gosh, Blue Ridge. It's the whole area, Blue Ridge, North Carolina, or where is it? North Carolina, Tennessee. It's right by where the hurricane in Asheville, North Carolina. It's right in that area, right when you're switching from Tennessee and North Carolina. It's right in that area. There's a Blue Ridge, and that's one of the companies that he bought it from. Okay. But yeah, it was from all different companies that were shipped. They were all shipped. It's not like he went there. I think there was one he actually went to, but the rest of them, they were actually purchased online and then shipped. to a residence. So he had quite a few of them. Supposedly, we'll have to look at the documents again. It's been a long time.
Genetic genealogy, and thus nothing in the warrant should remain. That's what it's coming down to. Now, if you were to go back and look at videos when this case first started out and we started learning about the genetic genealogy information from this third party, we said, you got to make that DNA go away. Who remembers, raise your hands, who remembers Scott saying, you got to make that DNA go away because that is it. And then, of course, people say, oh, Scott, his DNA could have got there anyway. Oh, it's so plausible. No, it couldn't. And I'm telling you, this is from a defense attorney. All right. I saw a comment I was looking over the weekend. It's like, is this guy even a defense attorney? He sounds very pro prosecution. Oh, no, I'm definitely a defense attorney. But my job, just like if you were my client, I'd have to tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly about a case. You can't just jump on a case and say, these are all the facts. You're going to look like a fool if you don't acknowledge the bad facts. Bad facts, Bryan Kohberger, guess what? His DNA at the scene, allegedly. So let's talk about that. The next one, motion to suppress memorandum as it relates to the AT&T, the phone records, first warrant, right? Same type of situation. A lot of these motions get into these third-party doctrine, as it basically states is like, hey, you don't have a right to suppress these items that these other companies hold for you. You know, like your phone records, you know, your call detail records showing where you are. That they keep that, and if they can get it, you know, basically all these tech companies have been turned into an investigative arm of your local police department, the FBI, and every other agency that needs this information. It's kind of scary. Supreme Court may be whittling that down a little bit with the Carpenter decision, but not enough, in my humble opinion. That should be my information, and those companies should not be allowed to turn it over to the police without my knowledge or my ability in which to at least protest that. But that's, like I said, my opinion. Google warrants, right? What could AT&T and Google warrants be? AT&T, phone records, location. Google, location, right? Apple accounts, grand jury. Now, I have to agree. A lot of these search warrants were, in my opinion, overly broad. Now, do I expect, from what I've seen, this judge who's now on the case to grant any of these motions? No. He seems a stickler for it. He's obviously a very, I wouldn't say pro-prosecution, but let's just say he's very firm on the law and the law as it states right now. But I do believe that some of these search warrants, as it relates to the Bryan Kohberger matter, were in fact general warrants. Motion to suppress the search warrant for the Hyundai in Pennsylvania, where it was seized. Once again, where information was obtained and were obtained via violation of the Constitution, it needs to be suppressed. All information gathered was because of the law enforcement's unconstitutional use of the investigative genetic genealogy, and thus nothing in the warrant should remain. And information about the client's location taken from his phone must also be excised due to being gathered by an invalid warrant. The search of the person of Mr. Kohberger upon his arrest, once again, everything because they were obtained by an invalid warrant. Now let's talk specifically, and then let's talk specifically about this motion to suppress, and then we'll talk about the motion to suppress statements post-arrest allegedly made by Bryan Kohberger. All right. Now this is the motion to suppress the memorandum and support thereof. Basically saying that they filed a motion or suppressing all evidence gathered by law enforcement as a result of the search of Bryan Kohberger's person at the Latah County Jail. Let's just go through the facts as the defense sees that. On December 28th, Trooper Larry of Pennsylvania State Police became aware of the objective of arresting Bryan Kohberger via Moscow Police Corporal Payne. On December 29th, the magistrate in Pennsylvania issued a warrant for 119 Lambston Drive, Chestnut Turnpike, Monroe County, the home of Bryan Kohberger's parents. On December 29th, 2022, at 2:22 p.m., the magistrate in the matter signed an arrest warrant for Mr. Kohberger in Latah County. The affidavit warrant was signed by the Moscow Police Department Detective Payne. The basic facts Detective Payne used to support were, at 2:43 on December 29th, a criminal complaint and probable cause order were filed in this matter. At 10 p.m., Pennsylvania SWAT began preparation for the arrest of Mr. Kohberger. Despite days of constant FBI surveillance, Pennsylvania law enforcement did their own surveillance starting at 11:15. And despite the fact that days of constant FBI surveillance showed Mr. Kohberger was unarmed and tended to go on runs around his parents' neighborhood, police decided attacking Mr. Kohberger with his parents' home was the best option. And despite the fact that days of constant FBI surveillance showed Mr. Kohberger was unarmed and tended to go for runs around his parents' neighborhood, police decided
So why couldn't they get, number one, why couldn't they get his DNA from a coffee cup, a pop bottle, a wrapper, like they did Long Island serial killer? Why you gotta get dad's DNA from a trash can from a neighbor's house when you were watching him go for fucking jogs and all this other stuff, going to gas stations, going to restaurants, going to these different places? You couldn't have picked up a cup like you did everybody else. You know, you couldn't have brought him in and said, hey, we want a sample. And this is the crazy thing, is they want to claim that they were looking at him from 11:15. So you're telling me on 11:15 and you talked to him during a week later, you talked to him, you know what effing car he's driving. So you're going to tell me that you were on to Kohberger on November 15th when you, Mr. Payne, you, Mr. Fry, you, L.E., was still saying you were looking for a 2011 to 2013 Hyundai Elantra on December 15th and the 16th and the 17th. A month later, after you, quote, are on to Kohberger, you're still looking for the wrong year?
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand it. Like I said,
It doesn't make sense.
It's fit and not a quit. It's make it fit. You gotta keep making it fit. Yeah, we were under him from 11:15. BS. Because if you were, you would have changed the freaking the year to a 2015, or you would have said 2011 to 2016 if you wanted to broaden up the models that look alike. 2011 to 2016, you could have said 2015, but instead you said 2011 to 2013 after you. Give me a break for a month, and then you're going to have Fry. You can go to the local news station and look up Fry on the 15th and the 16th telling you all to look for a 2011 to 13 Toyota or Hyundai Elantra. Ridiculous. Ridiculous.
They're canceling out their own statements.
They are. They are. They were not on. Give me a break. Why? Listen, you're okay. If you're on to somebody on 11:15 and you think this person, this is where I got a problem with law enforcement, and I'm gonna speak it. I'm gonna speak it. If you're telling me that you're on to somebody a month before they make a trip from Washington State to frickin' Pennsylvania, and they're able to commit this kind of horrific crime, and you're gonna let this person be exposed to so many other innocent humans that whole way, where they can literally stop at a frickin' rest area and do the same thing and maybe get away with it? How many rest areas? Give me a break. You're not going to sit there and let somebody travel across the frickin' country when they were possible of committing that kind of crime. So then what? So then when they run into Jimmy at this rest area in Nebraska, and all of a sudden, to these people too? Oh, it's part of our investigation. F you. F you, Ellie. That's where I got a problem. Because if you can sit there and say that you were onto this dude, but you let this dude get exposed, how many children he could have been around? in that 40 to 50 hour car ride. My gosh, these MFers, I tell you, they're reaching. And if you really were onto him, shame on you, law enforcement. Every single one of you that let this man drive across the country, because we've seen you do it before. We've seen you all of a sudden make up something where all of a sudden, hey sir, we need you to pull the car over to the side here. There's an issue with the computer or something. They make something up. Oh, we're gonna have to impound that vehicle, sir. Sorry. What do you mean? Hey, it's the computer, it's a glitch. Come back in, we'll figure it out. But as of right now, we have to, you make up something. Oh, damn, guys, I can't leave town now because I'm fix my car because of some paper glitch or computer glitch, and I'm supposed to come in on Monday and try and get it squared away. They figure out a way to keep you there. My Lord, man. This is what is so disgusting about they really think that people are this stupid that they're going to be this gullible to believe this crap. Maybe in Moscow, Idaho, where the population is fucking 2 people, they'll believe you. But when it comes to populated areas with common sense, no. We ask questions. Sorry, Rosie.
No, that's fine. I was agreeing.
Oh. Shame on LE if they did that, I swear. Because if I would have been one of those people or a loved one and that happened, and it's like, wait a minute, you guys let this guy go all this and my family member had to suffer from it? Oh, boy. Oh, boy. We got problems. Because of you and your lack of awareness that allowed this situation to take place. You allowed him to be in this opportunity for this to happen to my family member. My problem's with you, law enforcement. Oh, man. Not cool. Let me see. How much more you got, Rosie?
It's 10 to 10 for me, so can do it in another half hour. How much longer is this one?
About 12 minutes if I don't keep pausing it and having half asleep fits of just getting tired of BS because I'm getting tired of it. Magda, pick me, yeah. I know. My gosh, it's this is just What is going on with true crime, man? I sit there and I have a show with Sebastian and I'm talking about the clickbait and I'm talking about the narrative pushing and I'm talking about and it's like we're watching all of this stuff, not this right here, but we're watching all this stuff and it's just like, what the hell's going, what is wrong with people these days? Even these people that are going on these shows don't even take the time to literally make or prep any kind of notes when you know what you're going to be talking about on a national platform. I don't understand it. Nobody's ready. Nobody's doing their research. Nobody's getting into the facts. Nobody's doing any of it.
Yeah, I know. It's like one of the reasons why I'm changing out of solely true crime as well.
Yeah.
I just understand.
Yeah. What is it going to be like a mixture of true crime and travel?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. That'll be a nice mixture. Yeah. It's. I just don't understand how people can be this stupid these days when it comes to the technology that we have, the information that is available at our fingertips, how quick we can get the information in front of our eyes. Why does it seem like the world is just getting stupider and stupider every single day? I don't get it. We have so many things at our disposal to evolve, and yet we're going the opposite way. Maybe just people are too fucking lazy because we have so many things. We have so many things that are available to us, and somebody like me, listen. I'm constantly effing working, constantly, because there's so many things at my disposal I can try and use to help, and these people are just like, I'll
Yeah, I
just
guess.
sit back and.
Sorry. No, I
No.
think people just look for like a quick fix for information, and like maybe the more information we have, like the less people are actually willing to fact check. I guess I don't know
Oh
if it's that.
yeah. Well, yeah, with the more information, there's more misinformation too, and the more that you do need to fact check, damn straight, you're exactly right. But that falls on the person that if you're going to do this part where you are reporting the information to a mass population, well then if you're going to, it's like getting in a car and putting on a seatbelt.
Yeah, yeah. And I do feel like it's getting worse as well. Like, I mean, I haven't had a channel very long, but over just that, how old is my channel? A year. I feel like it is getting worse.
It is. It's the common sense. It's like, I know you can't get it at the corner store. You can't just walk up and ask for common sense and walk out with it in a bag. Like, you got to have it. But damn, I'm just sitting here going, how are we this effing stupid?
It's
Like,
worrying,
how?
right?
I don't.
Yeah.
Especially some of these people on these shows. It's like,
It's really bad.
I don't even we don't even have the achievements that these people do, and they're like not even talking sense. It's like, what is your contribution to this? If that's what I don't know. I'm looking at it and I'm like, man, we should be like, the point of being here is to evolve, right? Like, aren't we supposed to be like getting better every day at what we're doing? And getting better means you still work, even if people are telling you you're amazing. You still treat yourself like you're not worth shit because you know that you can do better, even though other people think that you've done the best already. No, let's just get complacent and let's just chill back and let's just do this and then we'll just talk. I mean, there's even like this Michelle lady with Sebastian Rogers' case sitting there talking like she's some canine expert from Scotland, but she don't even have canines. And now she's sitting there talking about this Enoch property. I guess they got the address wrong because that's not Sebastian's house. And it's like, if you actually looked into the background of Enoch, then maybe you'd actually see where the connection is. Like, there's so many people that just I can't even watch some people anymore. Like, it was already hard watching the dogs run through the grass and shit, but now you got like all of this misinformation, and she wants to sit there and talk shit about somebody from the Sebastian Rogers community, question people's intelligence in her video from this morning, question people's intelligence, but then doesn't and wants to call people out for not fact checking. But this is the same person that I had to reach out to months ago, telling her she needed to take this fucking video down before I slap her with a lawsuit because she wasn't fact checking. And she took the shit off because she wasn't fact checking.
Sorry. No, it's just, I feel like maybe, like, for some people, the difference is, like, you talk about, like, evolving. Maybe some people just want to look like they're evolving, right? So they just, like, they don't care if it's true or not. They just want it to, like, look like they have something to say. And
yeah,
yeah.
It's these opinion shows that everybody can have. It's like I said, you can line up 1 billion people and say, "Do you have an opinion about this person?" Yes, 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 yes. Okay, cool. You're fucking cool. Anybody could. You know how easy it would be for you and me, Rosie, to just sit here and talk about other people and not even have to talk about notes or outlines or not. I mean, damn, we don't even have to do shit. We can just sit here and go, "What's up, people?" Yeah, that's it, right? But no, this
I'm not
stuff
doing
is
that.
work. Yeah, this stuff is work.
No,
It's
it
easy to do that. How many people can stand up in that line and say they helped their community or helped a community after they helped their own community? You know, like how many people can say that? Not many. But yet, for some reason, these people that are just sitting there taking, like they're just sitting there talking about opinions of this and that. And it's like, at least do your homework, okay? And if we're going to talk about opinions, because we talk about opinions on here, but we also bring facts too and questions. We're not sitting here questioning people's intelligence. I'm done with that channel because I would watch it here and there. Lately her channel has just become like this hate fueled talking shit about, when she was putting information out about me that had some real legal fucking shit behind it, and it's like, you don't even know what you're talking about, and I suggest you take that off before I show you what I'm talking about. Miss Michelle, walking with the dogs, we got a fucking problem. After that, I was like, man, I can't trust her that much because she didn't even fact check my shit, right? Putting shit out there that wasn't even true, not fact checking. So then I'll sit there and I don't watch it like I used to, because after that I'm like, I can't trust what she's going to say next about this because she wasn't even fact checking the shit about me before she put it out. Oh, she changed it up real quick when I sent her an email. I'm like, look, dude, you need to get rid of this now. And I'm not fucking playing. And then when I hear I'm getting Hardee's, I was up, y'all. I was up. I couldn't get sleep. I went and got Hardee's this morning. As I'm sitting there in the Hardee's drive-through line, this video pops up talking about Chris Proudfoot's truck being at 155, and then just going in on people that are commenting in her comment section, tearing into their intelligence, calling them stupid, asking them if they see pigs fly and all this other shit. And I'm like, who the F are you to be like, listen, we don't have to agree, but the fact that you're sitting there like calling out people's intelligence that are your own fucking viewers because they're not agreeing with you. And she's like going on and on about this one person that left a comment. I mean, goes overly excessive into this one person, talking so much shit, and then sitting there talking about, well, you need to fact check and you need to do this and this and this. And I'm sitting there going, number one, you're talking shit about your community, whether you agree with them or not. You don't hear me sit there and call out somebody's intelligence, whether I like them or not, or I ban them or get rid of them or whatever. I'm not sitting there like, you're stupid motherfucker. I'm not doing that. Yeah. I'm not saying, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to quit just because we don't get along. But then when you sit there and you're telling people how you're on this pedestal and they need to fact check and they need to do this, and I'm sitting there going, number one, you don't fucking fact check, lady. And number two, because I know that personally, and I'll show you all the fucking email I sent her. If y'all want proof, I fucking sent her the damn email and took it right off. I'm not playing.
Yeah, I remember that.
But then you want to sit there and you want to like talk all this shit about, it's the wrong, they don't even have the right address. This isn't Sebastian's house. Maybe if you did your fact checking and your research, you would know that house is owned by the PF's family. You would know who constructed the house. You would know what other vehicles were at that house based off of the footage that I broke down. You would know the connections. You would know the history behind it. You would know all of these other things. So then maybe you could understand what some people are telling you in your comment section before you go on this fucking high horse and totally talk shit to parts of your community and then tell them to fact check when you couldn't even do it yourself. When it came to something that was a hell of a lot more damaging than when it comes to you talking about a fucking satellite photo.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, man, and this was the same person that a couple weeks ago was sitting there talking, you know, dude, these people, I just don't get it. Where's the canine? She's not a canine handler. Where's her canine? She don't even have canine. She's got dogs, but they ain't shepherds and Malaways, and there ain't none of them. There ain't actual fucking, you know what I'm saying? They're mutts.
Yeah.
They're mutts running around in the fucking corn.
Yeah.
That doesn't give you any right to sit there and say what American dog handlers and canines on what they can do and what they can't do. Oh yeah, they wouldn't be able to do that. Like she's some fucking expert. When I come out with the manhole theory, she wants to trash it. Oh, you guys, I know canines, and canines don't do this and they don't do that. Thank you, Michelle. That's why we appreciate you. Thank you. And it's like, do you even... I've been out with canines. I've been searching with canines. I know what the fuck canines are about. How do you fucking know? You know? And then coming out with another video just a few weeks ago, bashing. This is what canines are not capable of, and this is what the blown out perception of what they're capable of and what they really can't do. And I'm like, who the F are you to sit here and talk about all this stuff? I don't know what the F is going on over there, but it's just like when I heard that this morning and the talking crap to whether you agree with people or not. Don't sit there and call people stupid. Don't sit there and tell people, guess what? You see pigs fly? Do you see pillowcases floating? Like, what are you doing, lady? And then she wants to get mad because everybody's making a mockery of this case. Who the F's making a mockery? You are, lady, because your channel went from literally 20,000 subs to 70 because of Sebastian Rogers, and you claiming all of this shit, and you're the only one on at 4 or 5 in the fucking morning in the United States, so of course people are going to watch you. You're the one that benefited personal gains off of Sebastian Rogers' name. You're the one that manipulated information when it came to the mass public. You're the one that's been putting out misinformation when it comes to the case, and you're the one that's been part of that mockery that you so-called hate. It's horrible.
Yeah. I mean, I don't watch her. I didn't know any of those.
Go watch the video today and you'll see what I'm talking about. You see the damn dogs walking in the fucking grass and corn. That ain't no she ain't no handler. How can she speak on canines? Did she go to school for it? Does she have one? No. So how can you talk on it? And how can you, and these people, you should go, thank you so much. Oh my gosh, you're the one voice on YouTube that's, and it's like, oh my Lord, these people are just, what's going on? Read the label on the container. I'm not telling you you can't read. I'm not telling you that I'm not telling you you don't know how to read. I'm just saying, look, before you dip your spoon in the damn can to eat it, look. Because I know I got it. I know you got it in you. I know you got the smarts. I know you got the common sense. I know you got the thought process. Use it. She ain't got no clue about, and this is, she's the one, it's just, she's the one that has benefited a lot off of this, using other people's shit, using other people's footage. She's used my footage. She's used Trey's footage. She's used all sorts of people's footage. Does she ever credit me? Never once. Never once. Never once have I got credit. But she can sit there on her ass and film her dogs running around and talk shit about people. She is part of the mockery. She is part of the BS. She is part of the circus.
Yeah. I mean, it's scary that people want to watch that as well.
Because people, this is the thing, and this is why you can't really hold. Listen, I can't hold these people. This is why I don't call them stupid. This is why when somebody doesn't see what I'm saying, or somebody doesn't understand, this is why I don't question their intelligence. I don't sit there and speak on their intelligence, because I know that there's people out there that care enough, and they care so much that they just want the truth and justice to happen. And so they're going to get blinded. That's why we have a responsibility as content creators, right? Because being in this position, we're supposed to see through the smoke. We're supposed to see through the fog, the BS. And we're supposed to let you know, even if you see it, because look, we know everybody cares so much, and we do too. And that's why I can't fault anybody for believing stuff, because I know people really do care, and they care to a fault, and they just want that. They just want what, it's up to the content creators. You can be part of the circus. But if you're going to sit there and talk shit about the circus, you're going to talk shit about information, you're going to talk shit about all this stuff like you're on this high horse, when, I'm sorry, you're just showing everybody what you don't know about the case. You're just showing everybody what you're willing to not do when it comes to dig into information and find the truth. Because if you did, you wouldn't have said a lot of the things that you said today. And today, when I'm sitting in Hardee's waiting for my food and I'm listening to it, I didn't even finish it. I made it like 10 minutes, 12 minutes, something like that. And I'm just like, I'm just done. I'm just done. After this, it already was getting to that point. But when I'm listening to the hatred being spewed at certain individuals that were leaving messages, and how much she was just going in on this one individual about their intelligence, and I'm sitting there going, you didn't even do a background on 155 Enoch, because you're sitting there making fun of the 155 Enoch, saying, well, they got the wrong address. They weren't looking for Stafford. They were looking for Enoch. They didn't confuse Enoch with Stafford. They didn't confuse Stafford with Enoch. And she's sitting there telling you all that they confused Enoch with Stafford. Oh, they got the wrong address. Look at the photo, you guys. It don't even look the same. Flying pigs. I'm just like, and here I'm sitting there going, we were doing, Busby started it. We started digging into 155 Enoch before Enoch was even fucking known as 155 Enoch. We were figuring out the background, the property, all the stuff. And that's when we started. And that's when we started to dig in to the properties and the connections and the names. And me and Busby will have a part 3 coming out soon about the 155 Enoch. If you can't listen, and it doesn't even take that much, you could literally look up 155 Enoch in Tennessee, Gallatin, Tennessee. And you can literally find this stuff yourself. You don't have to pay. Some stuff you have to pay. You don't even have to pay for this one, Rosie. You could literally type it in your Google search bar, and it's going to give you the MFer's name that's associated with it. And then you do a little more typing, and you can find out the construction company that built the damn thing. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't take much. And when you're right, and when you're standing on that high pedestal and you're talking down to all these people, you already did misinformation on me. I called you out for it last summer. And this was huge. This was about shit that had to do with my fucking character as a person, people. This had to do with my character as a person and how I approached my investigations. And this lady went off somebody else's fucking video to then make me a subject, right? She didn't even look for the source of material or try and figure it out herself. She jumped on a bandwagon because it was clickbait and everybody was getting views. Look at her fucking titles. With the flags all over and the eyes and this and that. All of these emojis on the titles, and like, that's when she went from 20 to 60 to 70, the clickbait BS. And now she's trying to call out the same people that are doing the clickbait BS when it's like, you didn't even do your own fact checking with me when you're talking about my character as a person and how I do my work, and you're totally like comparing me to I don't even know how to say this because it's horrible. Comparing me to people that commit crimes against children, people.
Yeah.
And I just slammed my damn desk. Comparing me to people that commit crimes to children, people. So I already knew she wasn't doing her fact checking back then. And then when I see this talk shit on these people and then make fun of 155 Enoch like it's a misunderstanding. It's the wrong house. It don't even look like Stafford. I had the you don't do fact checking. How can I sit there? Oh, it's fucking bad, Red Riding Hood. I'm not playing. I'll show you the damn email on the next show. On the next Sebastian show. I'll show you the damn... We'll have one tonight. I'll show you the damn email I sent to her ass. And you can see the email address. You can see the date. You can see the time. And you can see what the F I wrote.
Good. Yeah.
And you can see. You can look up the email address. You can go to her page. Click the About Me. Guarantee you it's the same email address. And if it's not... Well, then go back on the Wayback Machine and go back to the date that I sent the email. And I guarantee you that email address was on the About Me section because that's where I got the damn email address. Because I'm like, this lady needs to stop. What the hell is she doing? This is not clickbait. This is not what the F this is supposed to be about. I gave her a chance. When you talk shit, I'm in Hardee's. It just happened by chance. Getting my breakfast. I listened to it. I'm like, this is gross. She's going after people for their intelligence, and this is not cool. And then she starts going off on people about how they need to fact check. And then I start remembering all of the stuff that I was like, whoa, who the F are you, lady? Who the F are you? Who the F are you? You should be happy for the platform that you have. I would love to have 70,000 subs.
Right. Yeah.
But I don't. Because I don't do the shit she does. And I'm not gonna. I'm not a clickbait. I'm not a make shit up. I'm not run with the, oh, look at this. Hey, this is getting a lot of views. Let me make my own version. No, it ain't. Hell, there's plenty of shit that we bring up in live streams that I don't even put on short form content. And then people come in a week or two or a month later and say, hey, did you hear about this, CJ? sorry you didn't see that we broke it. You know, it isn't. Do I hurt myself by probably, not pumping out all this content? Yeah, I probably do. But I'm too busy doing the work behind the scenes that really matter to the families and the victims and the communities, because that kind of work behind the scenes makes the difference. And I'd rather make sure that I handle this before I make 15 freaking highlights out of something just so people know that I broke something.
Yeah, I know.
I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. I'm sorry that I don't know entirely.
Go watch it. Yeah, go watch it. It's from the video. I went through Hardee's at 5:30 Central, somewhere around there. It was around there. It was around that time period. 5:30 Central, somewhere around there. You'll see what I'm saying. You see flags, you see the eye emoji, and you see Chris Proudfoot's truck in the title. And trust me, you'll just listen to it. I'm encouraging people to go give it a view, because when you hear the shit and then you see, listen, she did her own not fact checking and was putting out some bullshit misinformation about my character as a person and the type of work that I do. And for her to listen, I don't need you listen.
Yeah.
Those 70,000 people deserve somebody like me, not somebody like that. Bullshit. It's bullshit. I know you gotta go, Rosie. I apologize, but we are definitely, whatever day, you name the day and we'll do it. And even if we put out a noti a week ahead, I don't care. But you name the day, it's your choice. You name the day, we'll do the day the same time, and I promise I won't sleep through all my alarms that time. I'll promise my best. I'll promise my best.
No,
My sleep's been messed up since the demonetization stuff, so my sleep has been all out of whack ever since, and I just can't seem to get it back on the right track. But whatever day, we're gonna do it, and then we'll totally focus on the Megyn Kelly Howard Bloom episode, and then we'll go into whatever updates come out in between then. But I just want to say thank you so much for hanging out up here. Missed you. I know you've been busy with stuff over there, and we've all missed you. There's been a lot of people over the months that are, how's Rosie doing? And we miss you and we care about you, and we just want to say thank you for taking time out of your day.
Miss you all as well.
Yeah, we miss you very much, and we're glad. We know that you're busy with some other things going on, and it's it's just about being able to your journey, your path, your trail that you're trying to.
My channel's also. I was also demonetized a while ago.
Why? What? How? What?
My country's postal system is not one where I can receive that PIN. So they keep sending it, but I can't seem to get it. So I think they think there's something like dodgy because they can't verify my address.
Yeah.
So apparently I have to request it a couple more times and then I can.
Can you? I wonder if you can, because that's messed up. I wonder if you can contact like their support and tell them, look, because it's got to be a common thing, right, for South Africans to have that issue, right? So
it is.
Maybe there's something. Maybe they just need, instead of the whole automated thing, because I think it is all automated, right? Maybe by talking to somebody, maybe, oh yeah, hold on a second, let's go ahead and make sure that we notate this account. And
because I've spoken to other content creators from South Africa who said that if you keep requesting it, after a certain amount of times, you can ask to just upload like a document to confirm it. So I'm still waiting because you can only request it a certain amount of times per week. So I think I have like one more request. So
Wow.
I've been waiting, but that's part of why I also like disappeared, because like I can't do that much on the channel
Right.
because the channel's like inactive. So
Right.
and I'm changing it to a travel channel, half. So
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see.
Well, I mean, it's a good title: True Crime and Travel and True Crime. You know.
Yeah, that actually does sound good. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you can always have different playlists. You can have your true crime, and you can have your travel and different things like that. So.
Yeah, I'm going to Cape Town in February, so I'm going to take you all sailing.
Oh, cool! Sailing.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Dang. Well, be careful. Shoot, I don't like planes, and I don't really care for boats either. I like being.
I like them.
Do you? I like being on solid ground or close to it. You know, like if I'm in a boat, I gotta see land that I can swim to. You know, I gotta see it. Otherwise, no.
Yeah,
If I can't make it there myself, then it's like PTSD just goes fucking haywire. It really does. The damn trauma I had from a childhood. It affects shit like that, like claustrophobia and all this stuff. You know. But yeah. Thank you so much though, Rosie. Yeah, let me know, you know, we'll whatever day you choose, and then I'll let you guys know, and we'll put out a notification. We'll definitely cover that and probably get into some more stuff. I am going to be, I think, making an appearance on Commercial Zone's show tomorrow afternoon, talking Idaho 4. So I will drop a community post if that still works out or whatever. And then I'm going to be back later tonight. We're going to have a late show tonight. I'm probably going to be back around 8 or 9 Central. And then we're going to have like a late night show discussing Sebastian and maybe some other cases. But we're definitely going to be back on tonight. So thank you so much, Rosie. Appreciate you, miss you, and always love having you on. Again, if you're not subbed to Rosie, there's the link. Please go do so. She dropped a good video too a couple of weeks ago, or a week or two ago, about with the Idaho 4 stuff, and she's got a lot of other good stuff too on there as well with some other cases. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Hopefully you have a great day, Rosie. Beautiful, peaceful, and we'll see y'all later. I appreciate you. Love you guys. We'll see you on the next show. Goodbye.
10-4.